Eye in focus following yesterday's inline CPI prints. Right now, though, the S&P 500 gapping up again with 30 minutes to go until this key number. We'll take a look at the NASDAQ here as well. Poised to open slightly higher. Oil pulling back this morning, too. So there's a lot of different avenues to look at. So yeah, oil actually gapping down pretty sharply. So oil down, NASDAQ mildly up, and S&P 500 definitely poised to open higher here. Let's go over the economic calendar again for everybody, because we do have PPI coming through at 8:30. That's core and non-core month over month and year over year. At 8:15, we're going to get comments from Fed's Hammock again. She is one of the three Fed members that actually voted in favor for a hike. So we could get some hawkish talk coming from her ahead of that PPI print. No other major numbers to speak of. You're going to get the 30-year bond auction at 1 and then at 8:40 a.m. So basically we have a Fed sandwich. You've got Fed's Hammock before the PPI. After PPI, you get Fed's Barkin. So keep an eye on those comments. Also keep an eye on SpaceX. SPCX nearing 150. I think we got as high as 149.60 yesterday before pulling back a little bit at the close. But we had some positive announcements here with regards to Grok yesterday that certainly buoyed this stock and sent it to the upside. You also have Netflix on watch. Bill Ackman getting back involved in this after losing quite heavily in this going back to 2022. You've got earnings as well from the likes of Cerebras, Cisco, Coherent, shaping up to be another big day for the markets this Thursday morning. Sharif, good morning.
Yeah, absolutely, Darren. There's a lot of red here to start the morning. Cisco down 5 3/4 on interesting report. Earnings beat and AI orders surge, but of course, CapEx in focus. Cerebras as well, Cerebras, almost 15% here in negative territory. Coherent as well. A little bit of a different take than Lumentum than we saw a few days ago. They're down almost 7%. Again, IBM looking to do some business here with OpenAI. That's in focus. And of course, SpaceX, as Adair mentioned, getting into that critical 150 level yesterday after the recent release of the new Grok. A lot of these benchmark models are saying it's as good as, if not better, than some of the frontier models by OpenAI and Claude. And then you've got some Chinese names here. JD down 4%. Birkenstock, though, Adair, up 10 1/4 in space. SPCE down 9.09.
Yeah, pretty mixed earnings looking. It's interesting, as you said, you've got a lot of names that are down significantly, but the market actually trading higher. Now, I know we've got about half an hour to go for PPI, but what we saw yesterday was inline CPI prints, even though we actually had a heating on the month-over-month numbers and a cooling on the year-over-year numbers.
Right.
Do you think we might get something similar with PPI? That's what we have forecast, or do you think PPI is going to go in a completely different direction?
You know, it's interesting, right? A lot of people like to look at PPI as sort of the leading indicator, right? Because a lot of the input costs going into consumer goods come and are reflected in PPI. So I think if we were to see something like that from energy, I wouldn't be surprised. But from other sources, specifically from the microchip and semiconductor sector, I expect to see a lot of pressure there. Whether it balances out in other parts of the economy, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it should be an interesting look. And again, that's going to be sandwiched by some Fed speak. So providing more, context and more for the market to react to. But two men that will be reacting to the market all day in front of us, Sean and Neil, good morning to both of you.
Yeah, good morning. So far, well, you know what? The market's flat. And given the fact that yesterday you knew it was going to be almost impossible for the earnings names last night to do what happened. You couldn't see, it was so ridiculous with SMCI and CoreWeave and Nebius, 20 and 20 and 30% to the upside. So when you have those types of numbers, it's going to be difficult for Cerebras today, and it was going to be difficult for Cisco. You probably were never going to live up to it in the first place. But you know what? Even if those names aren't up, IREN fulfilled the Microsoft deal. They're up 5%, and if you look at the daily chart, they got some room to give a little bit more. And there's some ugly ones too, but moving to the downside of movers too, like StubHub got shellacked a little bit here. Yeah, Intuitive, they're down 20%. LUNR would be another one. Intuitive Machines got pumped. They were actually gapped up and now down 9%. So this is more than a 9% move. It went $2 to downside, over double digits. So there's a lot of movers in here today, of course, just like CPI yesterday. We'll have to wait till 8:30. Things can change. Oil's gapping down, so that's not really hurting us at all. So that's starting to look pretty good. And David Clark with the early super chat. Trade TV, you're a life learning experience offered to everybody, and a life learning experience that has taken a positive experience on my life. I hope your company spreads to everyone else. Appreciate you, David. Kind words, brother.
Yeah, nice. Thank you very, very much for that. And yeah, and right back at you, man. Thanks for spreading the love. And we like to spread the love around here as well. So thank you to everybody. And just for coming back every day with us means a lot. NASDAQ, though, right now coming back in just a little bit. So we'll have to wait out for that one. Put in the chat there. Let me know if there's anything that you guys want to look at here today. I just put this in the chat, so make sure you are a subscriber. Get it in the chat. I just put it in again here. Dane Generous always wants me to look at ONDIS, right? So ONDS here again, waiting for their pre-market report. So here it comes, and there it is, right there, ONDS downside. It's been a nice little run for ONDIS from 7 up to 10. We always are looking at this one. Not always, but we should be now with that report now out, ONDS. So Q2 pro forma backlog right here, it's 757 million, cash equivalents 1.4 billion on ONDS, but that number is now out. Sees forward sales 525 to 550 versus 509. So it actually should be a little better on everything there for ONDS, but there we go there. Sultan says, good morning, G, have a great day, right back at you. IREN is over here as well. I said, yeah, IREN, let's go. We're in that one. I like the gold buyout, gold push as well through that breakout. So what's up to Siavash there, and Ronian saying box L from yesterday as well. So a couple good names there, but yeah, ONDIS is now out, and this is flying downside, now flat again. So we were up, now you're back to flat. This could be a good name to look at. I just saw the numbers flash through, so we'll have to go through those to see what exactly they are, but Adair is working on that and maybe has them as well. But ONDIS, a reporter here today
They
early.
missed on EPS. They had a larger than expected loss. That's really the only negative number here.
Okay, so missed on EPS, but a better guide forward. So I think they could probably. Oh, worse for, because I saw that they had here.
Fiscal year was better, quarter was worse.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I saw. I saw fiscal year sales 525 to 550 versus 509, but the quarter apparently not as good. So we'll break through all of that as well. But there goes ONDS today. And then we have, of course, contractually obligated to talk about SpaceX. 150 is going to be something. So there was the push off of that level yesterday afternoon. We're right at the close, really. We got up to 150, we got up to 140. We actually had that poll out there. And once again, the poll was wrong. So, and there it goes all the way to the downside, 144.67. It really looked like it was going to break 150. How to go at it. And then now today I was like, what, if we don't break 150, maybe that is going to be a temporary top. And you can see right now selling off a little bit today. It's flat, but getting hit now is SpaceX. So that should be a lot of fun coming through there today. I don't have anything written yet on the board, but yesterday we had 3 or 4 names and we only traded 3 or 4 names. So being very specific and trying to figure out what the trade looks like. Bitcoin 63.5.
Still weak. I still think that's
oil
short.
Down.
Oil, that's good. The good news is the market's not really doing anything overall, like the NASDAQ. Or the ES, but USO gapping down can be seen as a little bit of a positive. Couple of points to the downside. It had been, I guess, consolidating would be the right word after our recent gap up, and whether or not there's any progress, it's always good if we can make a temporary top, and I like that we didn't break out that 130. So there's actually some potential downside here. One positive headline, there's a bit of a gap that could happen in USO. I just saw in the chats, there's a lot saying that FGI Industries is one of the more exciting ones. 20 mil volume already. So what do we have here? It was a story yesterday. Oh, it was after market they reported. So FGI is actually just earnings on this bad boy. So you got a gap and go on a smaller name. That's because of earnings and not just because it's some crazy Chinese company. 500,000 float. So you get earnings on a low floater and a not terrible daily chart. Just remember, when you look at some of these bag holder levels, sometimes you find resistance up there. But it's got great volume on it and room to at least 11. So it's already holding VWAP and showing you the hold of VWAP. So I think that makes it a little bit easier to play because it's bounced once, it's bounced twice. Once it loses the volume weighted average price, that can just kind of be the no-go zone there on FGI. It's just FGI Industries, nothing fancy about that. But yeah, good old-fashioned earnings on a microcap instead of it just being complete random, we're up for no reason other than maybe we have a Chinese flag next to our ticker. Well, I mean, Sharif, you laugh, but like last week I felt like that was true, was it not?
Because of the Luis Barbato checklist, right? Remember I was telling you about this? Like one of the checklists there was, is this a Chinese company, right? Like it's got such a bad reputation now.
It's true. I'm not gonna deny it. But this one is not, so that's fine. What's not fine? Actually, some of the Chinese companies not doing so well this morning. JD, here's looking at you, down 4 points.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and this has been tumbling the last few days. No, group has been tumbling the last few days as well. But yeah, JD.com would be the one in play. I don't know. I like Baba more than them. And Arthur with the super chat. There it is. Are we talking about SpaceX yet?
I'll have to find out what that symbol is. What is it? SpaceX?
Oh, you know what?
I mean, I know SPCE.
Absolutely. How can we forget Virgin Galactic? I mean, Virgin Galactic, they're talking about cash flow positive next year.
What? No way.
You can't make this stuff up. Virgin Galactic says they're aiming to be cash flow positive next year, saying they have booming demand for their space tourism. You're not really even going into orbit, but it's a cool concept. I just think it's a little pricey for what you get, but to each their own. It seems cool. But they are down 10%, and obviously they are not SpaceX. I guess it's possible that they could squeeze. The volume's actually pretty bad on this one. No, they're not SpaceX at all. But SpaceX is really going to be about that 150. You know, the IPO price, not the IPO open, we should say, not the issue price. But that'll be in play. It's going to do tons of volume. But yesterday, it wasn't as big as the day was. There were other names doing better relative volume, right? Like you had NBIS, which was going ham, and all three earnings names were just moving in a more impressive way. And they're all really impressive. So this one's got to be on radar, as apparently Michael Burry's, I don't know if double down's the right word, but either he's short again or short more of NBIS. Wasn't quite sure. He definitely shorted some.
Yeah. We were yesterday. We had that big trade on CoreWeave off the open. We had a huge trade on SMCI. So those were two big names. Just checking my position in my own account here on IREN to try to figure out what's going on and how much we're up or down on that pretty small position on IREN. But yeah, yesterday we had CoreWeave not near the lows. We did have the low of 106 yesterday. Now you're breaking below that here today. So yesterday we bought CoreWeave right into these levels here, and it had worked out. Now you're getting the dump on that one. Yesterday we had bought SMCI. We had it on the sticky note at $35 break long, like literally said 35 break long yesterday. And that's right there. And then that was, cruising the whole day. So we really liked that trade. Did come back in right there on the midday. Wish we would have been trading that one there. But that came back in. So we'll have to wait to see if SMCI has topped out there at 38.50 in the pre-market, still up that $1.50 or so from the close yesterday. Closed 37, got to 38.50, now 38, coming back in a little bit for SMCI. Hey man, maybe today's a TQQ short. I've left these guys alone for a minute, so we could probably get back into some TQs at some point here today. And of course, that's the market. Yesterday, we had the discussion last week when someone asked me about 725 on the NASDAQ, if we were going to get to that. I forget, it was like a very long period, and I was like, no, we're getting to that pretty soon. And that's been a really great level, bouncing in and around here. So I'm sort of thinking that today might be a sleeping day, a little quiet on the front. I mean, so far it's been pretty quiet. Adira's mentioned there's a SanDisk event today, so we'll probably touch on that a little bit. But if the NASDAQ is quiet, then this kind of top right here, I don't know if there's enough juice to break it. So we'll wait. And again, some company, SpaceX, could be one that's traded pretty actively there today, breaking through that 150 level. So we'll definitely have a quick look at that when it does happen. But what about the NASDAQ potentially giving something up here today? It looked like yesterday, started off pretty hot and then just kind of fizzled. Like we never really got going again. So be interesting to see what happens today if the NASDAQ pops into this 725.50 area or something like that. Maybe we can get a short off of it. Remember, PPI is in 16 minutes now. So that'll be something to come out with. And just to checking our numbers here, we have jobless claims. We have July producer price index. Actually, we don't have the number at what's expected. PPI consensus near 0.3 month over month, I guess. 0.3 is what we have. We have a little bit of a different watch list going out there. So the numbers are a little different there. But is it on there, what you have?
I'm just going to...
8:30. There it is. Jobless claims.
We're expecting. What do we got? CPI. Blah 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 blah.
Wasn't it today? Philly Fed.
What am I looking at the 20th? This thing. Why would this default to last week? I hate this.
20th would be not last week.
Like if I put
today's the 13th.
That's what I'm saying. But if I open up a website, why the heck would it take me to not today? That's just. Be better trading economics.
That makes no sense. That must not be a Trader TV Live.
I refresh on the stupid thing, and it's showing me Thursday of next week. Sorry, sorry, trading economics, but it happened live, and you can't really run away from it. There we go. So forecast 4.3% on core PPI year over year, month over month, 0.2% there. So we'll see. And again, in 15 minutes we'll have. But to your point about the Nasdaq, couldn't get going yesterday. You have to remember, unfortunately, there were some NVIDIA was great, and you saw strength in NVIDIA, and lots of things were showing plenty of strength. But Meta had a rough go of it yesterday. Microsoft had a bit of a bounce. It obviously fared a little bit better than Meta because it caught a bit of a bid. It didn't really do much with it, but it was better a consolidation. It's up slightly, but that was kind of weak in yesterday's trade. And then Alphabet as well. Like Alphabet has still been trending down for the last little while here. Its bid was better at the end of the day than both Microsoft and Meta. But that's one of the things that was weighing down the Nasdaq. So yeah, the chips are in play, but you've got to also look under the hood at why the market wasn't able to get off the schneid. So those three names are going to make a big deal. And oddly enough, I don't even think we looked at or talked about or even noticed whatever happened to Amazon yesterday. Isn't that weird? Amazon just...
What did happen to it?
I don't know. I never looked at the chart. Obviously, Meta was in play because Meta had the news. But yeah, they had a rough day as well on Amazon. So look, at this point, the Mag 7 are pretty divided. And once again, you've got NVIDIA as the biggie. They really passed Apple by a wide margin. Yeah, I didn't realize that Amazon had as bad a day. I guess we're looking at Meta too much as the dog there. Yuck, Amazon, yuck. I still got a bunch of packages, although a couple of them were soaked yesterday at the door. But
oh, yeah.
It still came.
Yeah, Amazon, very, very reliable there. Yeah, I don't know what was going on yesterday. We did have that downside play in Google, Amazon. I think even Apple was trying to think about, is Apple below 300 yet? No. So this is another name to look at the $300 mark. I mean, we bounced off of 300 yesterday for Apple, $300.50. So another one that's upside against the market. Always interesting to see when Apple's doing that. And a name that we also never talk about anymore, it seems like, is Tesla. So we can see what's going on with this one. Upside yesterday early, and then it was just whoosh down there. Like, this is another one that flushed. This is what I was trying to say, is that, we had good starts to names. Like, we closed Tesla the day before 333, open up 335, and then it was just like, see you later. Like, what was going on there with Tesla with no news yesterday, really? So yeah, man, it's getting to be a little bit spicy. This might actually be a really good level too, 328. But we just got to get back. We got to figure this out. Like, some of these names are getting hit to the downside. This MAGS ETF has been a good one to follow as well. So this one is every single one of these names all wrapped into one little bow. So it's going to be very similar. I just showed you guys the NASDAQ topped out. I mean, it's the same thing, right? So it's like, this is just investing in the NASDAQ essentially, but you just get the top 6, 7 names. So MAGS, if you want to get rid of all the other ones, like sort of the fluff that might be in this market, if you don't believe in some of the valuations, you can just go with the MAGS. The MAG 7 valuations are really well in line. They're not many of the names are like more than like a 30 PE right now. NVIDIA, Meta, I don't think Google is. I don't know what that means.
Meta's mad cheap. Like
Amazon. I never actually, I'm always, what? Google's not 17.
No, Meta. Oh,
Meta. Well, Meta's going to be.
Meta's a different story.
Yeah, Meta's going to be 15 soon.
Yeah.
AMZN right here. Yeah, Amazon 21 to 22. See, so this is generally one that's a little bit more extended, right? Google today, 16. Yeah, Google is only 16 and 17. Unbelievable, those forward PEs. Like, you have to ask yourself a question. You'd rather be in Meta? You think Meta deserves a higher PE than Google? Are you on crack? That's Meta. And then the other one here is Apple right there. This is the one that's really blowing everyone out. That's 34. So Apple right now is double the value of the valuation on the price earnings multiple. And price earnings multiple doesn't, we've said it doesn't mean anything. Actually, Joe said yesterday that even Josh Brown there was saying that PE, you don't really have to look at that too much. But it does give you a good indication of what the market is feeling about the stocks, right? And I think if your stock gets hit and has a low PE, but you still like some of the talk behind it and some of the levers that can get pulled, it's like Meta, like you said, if a lot of this is probably window dressing for Meta. Like everyone, you said it yesterday, Neil, like when they're a profitable company and they're in the eye of the regulators and everybody's using it. It's just, whenever you're the king, you get people looking at you. And Meta right now is, part of the Mag 7, one of the most valued companies in the world.
That said, the 21 on Amazon versus that 17 on Meta. I know which one I prefer. Like Amazon, I didn't realize it had gotten quite that cheap. That looks like a good dip buy. Like tell me it's in a downtrend after their earnings, and you like with Amazon you get the retail for free because everyone cares about AWS as they rightfully should. If this gets anywhere near the 50 period, that looks like an appealing dip buy for sure. Ooh, okay. What is FGI going again? Just want to double check. Is that stock moving? Yeah. Okay. So good luck, Tisha Perkins. Congratulations. It bounced off VWAP. You said 11. I thought it was at 11. That's why I was like, okay. No, it's at 950. That FGI. Not quite at $11 yet, but I hope it gets there. I mean, that would be fantastic if this runner goes for everybody that may or may not be in it. Just remember, take your profits where they lie. Often we've seen these retrace heavily, but this is actually up on earnings. So let us know what else might be out there small cap wise. This was the one that I just keep seeing in the chat. We have the visualizer, but I didn't open it up yet to get an idea. So yeah, on this ONDS, that was already brought to Sean's attention. IREN, we discussed that Microsoft news like IREN today. Hopefully we can. I just want to see that one hold on to the prior day high, maybe even VWAP. It's under now, but could look pretty good. FGI is when we're talking. The SPY, SpaceX as well. GXAI. Okay.
We've really improved this. This is
Voxel. Yeah, it's very.
Like this is just
like
more
modern looking. Cisco, they're down today. That sucks.
I like that.
SMCI continuation on earnings. That'll be a good one.
I like how the names drop down like it's like Atari.
Yeah.
You know, there's Open Door, ARX, people want us to talk about. Iris, oh yeah, well, IREN. Yeah, that's right, so we got it formerly Iris, and then they switched over once they stopped, moved into the Bitcoin, out of the Bitcoin sort of realm there, so that's IREN. So we actually got to tell Fabian about that one, change that one up. But yeah, it's really cool, man, all the logos. What is that one beside
What's
Intel?
INFQ?
Oh, GXAI. The one beside Intel's a pretty cool one. Cisco, we all know that logo for sure. I like the SpaceX logo too. They're beside IREN.
Yeah.
SpaceX. That's that company that we're supposed to talk about.
Oh, is that who it is?
Why
is INFQ there?
I wonder if I'm going to look at SpaceX today. It'll be pretty interesting.
Okay.
INFQ.
It's just, it's not usually that we'll see on the visualizer a stock that has done 250,000
Yeah, Neil, where's your
shares.
earpiece?
What?
Is your earpiece in?
It is in.
Oh, it's not logged in. Wow, Neil, not logged in. Wow. Wow, it's not dedicated to the craft over here, Neil. With that being said, let's go, because I can hear that Joe is ready over there.
Nothing.
But the thing is, Andre doesn't even need to tell us that Joe is ready. Joe is born ready.
See him right there.
Joe is ready every time. You know, the thing is, the technology's not ready for Joe. Joe is ready. It's like as soon as the board finally starts to operate properly, that's when we're ready to go. So Joe, the leader that he is ready to take us through the options look here early. So over to our guy, Joe, at the big screen.
Thank you very much for that. Put a smile on my face bright and early this morning. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the options activity from yesterday's session. I don't know, we don't talk about this name too much, but here it is, Shreve. SpaceX at the top of our list. And Sean, I heard you mention the $150 strike price. Well, congratulations. I do believe we have the opportunity to run into this level, guys. So we're going to be looking at it expiring. All these contracts expire after the bell tomorrow. So don't forget this, guys. Open interest sitting around 23,000 contracts. That is going to be your largest amount of gamma exposure. Now, there's 70,000 contracts open and closed on yesterday's session, so let's keep an eye out on some of these levels. NVDA, $225 marker, and if you look throughout the week, we've had issues breaking and holding this level, but Ozin, need you not worry, 32,000 contracts here. I do believe that we have the opportunity and the ability to absorb this supply and continue to move a little bit higher. It may not happen this week, so let's keep an eye on this concentration to see if it gets rolled over to the next expiration cycle. But this is a staggering amount of contracts open and closed on yesterday's session. I was surprised to see this number, 672,000 contracts open and closed, guys. So think about it. These are outstanding shares already on the market. So times that by 100, that's a substantial amount of volume. Once again, it's going to be expiring tomorrow. Let's keep an eye out on this 225 hold. If you zoom out, you can see that we've had multiple tests throughout the week at that specific level. Now, DRAM also on our list here, guys. this should be $50 or so. Open interest around 8,100 contracts and volume around 9,900 contracts. So let's keep an eye on that $55 marker on DRAM. Moving forward, let's take a look at some of the names that the gentlemen were talking about as well this morning. Meta, trading at a lower PE, but we're going to be looking for a potential floor on this name. We do know that it's a little bit more expensive, and with that being said, you're not going to have the same amount of options or derivatives activity within this specific underlying. All right, guys, so volume at 4,700 contracts and open interest at 6,500. Let's see if this floor at 580 can hold here for META. We get a couple of pops, and then it's immediately faded. You guys know where I stand in regards to META. Now, Amazon selling off yesterday as well too, but up substantially off of those lows after the earnings report, guys. Expiring on Friday, we're going to be keeping an eye on this $260 marker for potential turnarounds here. Open interest sitting at 7,700 contracts, but volume open and close at 7,000. Let's keep an eye out on that 580 marker and that 260 level here on Amazon and Meta. Let's send it back to Neil and Sean.
Thanks, Joe. And yeah, you mentioned that DRAM, and someone in the chat was just like, it's actually shampoo in the chat. We'll give you a shout out, shampoo. Why not? What is your?
I heard you're not really supposed to shampoo your hair every day.
That's.
I don't really.
That's one of the lies that I feel like when we were younger, it's like shampoo and conditioner all the time, and like no, it's actually you shouldn't use it too much.
I don't believe you're supposed to.
The lies that Procter & Gamble sold us.
The oils. That's why we have
shoulders.
hair. It's because we believed in all of that.
I listen to that way too much. But
I don't even have shampoo. Like I just use body wash. No, I know, but for what? It's true. But even when I had hair, I was just like, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't care either. It's like,
I should see the amount of product that my kids, my wife and daughter has there. It's absolutely insane.
It's all about that product.
Spend on.
But hey, shout out to Procter for being able to hawk their stuff. But shampoo was concerned about memory. That's what I was getting at, because DRAM was on Joe's watch. So for whatever reason, we'll start with SanDisk, because I think SanDisk in the afternoon. For whatever reason, SanDisk just kind of lost the bid a bit more than the other memory names. So it might be one to watch today to give a bit of a read on the overall group. I know there's Micron, SK Hynix, obviously, but this one, for whatever reason, had a little bit of a drag. If it catches any kind of a bid, DRAM has an obvious, look at the 55 on DRAM the last couple of weeks. Obvious level here. Get through the quarter, or is it the quarter or the half? Actually, it's the half. It's 55 half that would need to be the breakout play. But if you start getting up there and SanDisk just randomly starts selling again, it's got a huge wall in front of it. So DRAMs, I didn't even pay for locates today, so I was kind of hoping it would be a breakout. But with the market heading lower, this is now heading lower. I might pay for locates to be able to play that level in both directions. I just had a super chat.
No, I found it. I just put this up because I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Right there, that we're the new hair consultants. So yes, that is right. Not only
you don't want to listen to me.
We're trying to. I told you yesterday that we're trying to expand the reach and the look here on the show. So hell yeah, man. If you guys have any hair questions, feel free to ask me, and I will send it over to Sharif. But okay, so I just want to show you something with Elf here, Elf Cosmetics, because someone in the chat said never ever short women's products, especially hair products. And I think you're right. Like this Elf Cosmetics, and I'm hopefully, okay, good. Marissa and G are at hockey, so I don't have to hear about it. This was a buy, and I've been told to buy Elf every single time it goes down. That's just gone from $51 to $91. So this one is almost a double up in about a month and a half, 2 months. It's called 2 months. June, yeah, that's the low of June. So June 8th or 9th there, up to 100. But the thing about Elf Cosmetics is, because I was actually looking at this the other day, is it made this bottom there as well back in April and then came in again in June. But right now it's also hitting the tops. So we have numbers in 1 minute, but I just want to say that this is another name that, look at this, 100, 100, 100, there's 100 there, there's 100 here, and here's 100 again. So Elf Beauty or Elf Cosmetics might be on the way back in. 45 seconds until PPI, and no one better than the two at the desk. So let's go throw it back and figure out what this goes from here.
Let's go over the forecast here. So forecast for PPI year over year, 4.9% versus 5.5% prior. So we are expecting that to be cooler. But then PPI month over month, we're expecting to be hotter, 0.2% versus negative 0.3% previously. Core PPI year over year, once again, cooler, 4.1% versus 4.7% prior. But then core PPI month over month, expecting a little bit hotter, 0.3% versus 0.2% as the prior print. We're just 10 seconds away now here, Sharif, from these PPI numbers. Any final thoughts?
Not really, Adara. Let's see if they come in hot. Again, like we spoke about last time, it's just one print. Let's see the aggregate of, 3 to 6 months.
Absolutely. And with that in mind, we should be getting these numbers any moment now. Also getting initial jobless claims, 209,000. So 209,000 above estimates of 202,000. And core PPI month over month, 0.2%. That is going to be a little bit cooler than we were expecting here, 0.3%. PPI year over year, 4.7% versus 4.9% forecast, so that's going to be cooler. PPI year over year, 0% versus 0.2% forecast. That's also going to be cooler, but core PPI year over year comes out a little bit hotter than expected. 4.2% versus 4.1% forecast. So this is very different, guys, from what we saw yesterday with CPI with all of those numbers in line. You've got for 3 of these prints, cooler than expected, and for one of them, core PPI year over year actually a little bit hotter than expected. SPY spiking higher and now pushing back lower. I mean, Sharif, we've just gotten these numbers. Do you have any immediate thoughts?
I don't like anything above a 4 print, Adara. I would like to see where the actual inflation is coming in. Exactly what sectors are we talking about? Energy, and we know energy and chips have been really lifting everything up, but I'd like to see if it was anywhere else. Is there a shelter involved in that? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and you mentioned that 4 print. We had 4 prints on both the core and non-core, so that's going to be significant. I'm going to put these numbers up on the screen. How do you guys feel here about this PPI and how it's impacting the market?
Well, the market's still saying 60-40 for the rates, but we'll give it, just like yesterday, give it a couple of minutes. It did shift around, but for now, we're still looking 60-40 for no rate hike, I should say. We're obviously not going to get a rate cut. I mean, some are saying it'd be years before we get any kind of a rate cut. So
that's going to change now because now
I think it has to.
With this number being a little cooler, it should spark talks again of a rate hike. So
actually, PPI quote says 4.2 versus 4.1. I saw another site that had 4.2 as the expected. So some people had the year over year in line. But that looks like it's a bit hot.
So it's a little bit, 4.2 year over year versus 4.1. I think the numbers are pretty much in line again. It doesn't look like we're shock and awing anything right over here. I mean, the market ripped up there into 29 again, almost 30,000, 29.9. And then now it just reverted all the way back into these lows again. So a little bit of, expected move here in the first 5 minutes before the number comes out, we pop, and then we drop to basically right where we were before. So NASDAQ right here, snooze fest on the PPI number looks like. I mean, I had the Qs up waiting to see if anything was going on, and right now nothing going on. I actually don't even, my chart didn't change, that's why. Nothing really going on right here in the NASDAQ as we see. I got to fix some of these candles, but a nice little high tick back up to that 725 and then a fade again. So maybe the fade is on today. I mean, I was saying the NASDAQ didn't really have a reason to go higher. Not sure this is enough of one there. You can keep adjusting this, this will probably take a couple minutes until we actually get something on this, but 59.40 right now on the rates. So that's a hold versus a raise. So that's basically what it was. Remember yesterday it was 53.48 or 53.47 or so, something like that, 52.48. And then we had the CPI come out, then it adjusted to 60.40. So right now, I expect this number to get a little higher. Hey, maybe we'll be close to 1-to-1, man. I mean, even this is pretty much a coin toss right now at 60.40. So, it should be interesting to see what comes up with Kevin Warsh and et cetera at September 16th is the Fed rate talk there. Did gold do anything? That's when the announcement is. Did gold, it looks like it's moving around a little bit. Yeah, heading a little lower on that number. Bitcoin's still at 63.5. That's where it was when we last looked. I think gold, I don't know, I was thinking about actually buying that MAGS ETF just because I think some of these MAG 7 names are just at the right valuation, and I don't want necessarily all the other things involved in the NASDAQ 100, but I still love all those, like the Costco's in the NASDAQ 100, so there's some names in there that you got to get. And NASDAQ, Walmart, I believe too, right?
Yeah.
Walmart switched over into the NASDAQ and immediately went into the 100, so you get some good value there as well. So you're not taking some tech stocks. I'm talking to myself into just buying the Qs again. But yeah, right here, this is gold. So I actually like that breakout that we talked about. Michael was on here. I think it might have even been whatever this day was when it was starting to break out or looking like it was going to. And then the breakout has happened there in GLD a little bit. So you're getting a nice little 4% or so up in the last couple of days in GLD. this number I thought would maybe help, but gold, it's kind of bouncing a little bit here, so we'll have to wait for the futures, but not much going on here. What? Someone just say bending spoons is lower? This is one that I've missed out on, and I think I want to get into this.
Lozo was just saying.
Oh, it's only down 2%.
That's not down much.
On lowered guidance for BSP? Okay, and very, very interesting name. Bending Spoons comes back down into somewhere near its IPO range, like between this $30 to $40. I think this is a buy, Bending Spoons, on this breakout right there. So if BSP can come back into $40, I kind of like that name. We talked about it with Brian the other day as well, but okay.
I always wonder, like, if the IPO breakout happens like right away, is it the same significance? Because when we talk about the context of the IPO breakout trade, usually it makes its high, and then I don't know, like a year later you get back and then break out the IPO high, or like 8 months later, or 2 years later, or 3 years later. Well, this one did it effectively right away. So these levels matter as much. Like on Robinhood, the IPO breakout ended up being a dip level because it spent so much time underneath that top. That's an interesting one. But be careful with that, Lozo, saying, shouldn't it be much lower on the guidance miss? There's no shoulda. Like that's the one thing about the market. Like, should NBIS have been up 30% off their quarter? Should StubHub be down 20? I think I think reasonable minds can agree that StubHub should be down if you look at their quarter, but 20%, should it be 20, should it be 15, should it be 10? I mean, ultimately that's the one thing that you can look at. You can look at things like previous moves that it's done and reference that. You can look at what the options were pricing in and say, okay, well, if it's half of the expected move and the miss is significant, then play momentum into that. Like those type of things out there, but there's no real should have, unfortunately. And I hate to pick on StubHub, but I was trying to come up with an example of something that was down a lot, and it's the first thing that came to mind. Randy always come to our mind.
What is it
I
today,
saw
my guy?
VinFast on the road. I was telling Sharif.
I saw some more Lucid Airs actually on the road too.
I've seen 2 Lucid Airs.
Yeah, I've seen some more this morning.
One and a
Yeah.
gray one.
Right.
Maybe that Lucid pricing is coming down. We did that. We did a look. Sharif did a look the other day on Lucid, and
Gravity so far, zero.
oh, the Gravity. Oh, I like the Gravity. That's their SUV, right?
Yes, sir.
Very heavy.
Yeah, they don't. Oh, it's a heavy car because of gravity.
Apparently, yeah, it's
Maybe it's floating around.
almost
Space.
second. Whereas
Space. Isn't there a stock Space something? I can't keep
Space
forgetting about
something.
that one. But yeah, we can. I mean, VFS is VinFast, of course, one of the sponsors of our show, and I think that we actually talked about it. Sharif was actually look at VFS, man. Come on, man. Let's get going a little bit here. We actually talked about, wow, this might be actually a decent area for VinFast, probably a decent short float as well. You talked about better financing options for VinFast and stuff like that. So they actually look pretty sharp. I don't mind the look of the SUV there for VinFast. I think the VF9, they have VF9, VF6. So I like the VinFast. I think that's a good opportunity there to get something on the road. And like I said, man, Marissa, today I phoned her right. So I talked to her probably way too much a day. But right when I got in here, I dropped off my kid there at Queen's Park and then phoned her. And she had told me, so I said, oh, how was the drive today? Blah, blah, blah. So I just switch over to Tesla here because that's what I'm getting at. And she, so she's driving the Model 3. We have the full self-drive. And I asked her, how was everything? She said, and they were almost in Whitby, almost at the arena. And she said she hadn't touched the wheel since Tim Hortons. So she got on, she leaves the house, picks up a coffee at Tim Hortons. So shout out to Canada and everybody. I mean, Tim Hortons, oh, I don't have my stream deck on. Tim Hortons is also very popular in the States, by the way, especially in Northeast. I've seen them, all over the place. But and she hadn't touched the wheel since Tim Hortons, and that's highway driving, city driving, and everything. You guys let me know, because I was actually wondering this. She asked me this too. Will the full self-drive, and hopefully if you guys are watching that have done this, will it go through a drive-through? That was the one thing that I wanted to know, because she asked me that yesterday, because she always disengages it. And I said, you know what? With the full self-drive, you can actually, like, if I put my house, it asks me, do you want it for me to park in the driveway?
Why wouldn't it?
Does it want me to? It might. It just, is it mapped? That's the only thing. Like, it has to be smart enough to go through it, right? But it always asks, like, when you go to a shopping mall, do you want to park in front of the store? Do you want to park in a spot? It will find it for you. We haven't used the summon feature yet. That's pretty cool. I think that's Yes.
You about something.
Okay.
So I know Marissa, she loves the Rivian, and we all love the Rivian as well. But I want to mention that the Model YL now, Katina, man, this one is a 3-row SUV, so it could kind of fit the profile.
Isn't that China only though?
It's in America now, and it's coming to Canada next month. I just want to show you some of these pictures here. So this is not this. Yeah, if we could put that on. This is not a small car, Katina, man. This is 3 rows. You get a couple of captain seats in the middle row, and then you have 2 seats at the back. It's quite spacious, and then you have that
Look at
monster
that roof.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna get to that next. You know, a big roof, Katina, man, and obviously it comes with FSD and stuff like that. So it would come with all the Tesla software.
Everybody knows I like a big roof, and I cannot lie. So I like big roofs, and I cannot lie. I wonder what that's going to come out at, Sharif. Did they say? Because the Model Y is really affordable. It's $64,900 right now in Canada, like loaded. That's for the Premier edition, not the performance one, but that'd be interesting to see that one. Yeah, look, we could, that was the one thing that we go back and forth with because we still have the 3 kids, although one's 24. So we don't
you'd be at the
travel
point
around too much.
You'd be at the point where you can not necessarily have to rely on
the Model Y has 5 seats.
It's
but
big,
you
it's
saw
big enough.
Baxter's bigger than me. My 24-year-old's 6'2".
Well, that's the other problem. Yeah.
And my 14-year-old is the same size as me.
And has like, then also there's all of the stuff that you got to carry around because you got
the trunk space is actually really the Tesla trunk space.
You got hockey bags, baseball bags.
Impressive.
Sometimes stuff just lingers in there, and you're like, why did I leave that in there?
Oh yeah, I have. Even today, I'm driving the car and I have my bucket of balls in the back, and there must be. I have one of those Home Depot orange paint buckets just full of balls. There must be like 100 hard balls in there.
Yep.
And it's just like, oh my God, I just hear it banging.
All of ours got waterlogged last night.
Anyways, did anyone say anything about the drive-through there?
But before we get to that, we got to acknowledge KC. KC, you're too generous. As always, thank you for the 5 Trader TV Live memberships. I want to see who got them. Who got the memberships? How far do I have to scroll? There we go. So we got Johnny was able to get it. Johnny just be trading. Boris MT, Alpha Logistics, and then Frederick and Money Mate got those free memberships. Remember, you got to be involved. You got to be in the chat. If you're in the chat, then you've hit the subscribe and you enable gifts. And then when KC or anybody else enables those, you're able to get the membership. And you're like wondering, what the heck is this membership and what is it all about? Well, one of the things that you get with that membership is Sharice Morning Note. And in the Morning Note, you're going to get technical levels. You're going to get all the big stories. It's always like 13 pages long here. There you go. You got the story. You got the technicals. You got a trade plan. It's $5 a month, or for those 5 lucky people, they just got a month. They just got it for free because KC was so generous. So, 25 cents a trading day, basically. So we appreciate you guys, those that have signed up, and of course KC for gifting those memberships. So if you're wondering, someone seems to gift them every single day. If you're in the chat, then you have that possibility. Barkin saying much of today's inflation from shocks that should pass. Yeah, like oil that's passing. Oh, it's down today, I guess.
Some of those numbers, we had the job numbers. They had talked about like the effect of the World Cup and everything like that. So just trying to wrap my head around if there could be some inflationary pressures from the World Cup. I don't know, but maybe. I don't. Yeah, interesting. There's always things that talk about that. Yeah, it says here, Fed's hammock reiterates need to raise rates now. Fed's hammock says they need to raise rates now. Policy is not restrictive. Businesses are excited to grow and borrow. Labor market is stable. Inflation amid recent shocks has risen. Too much growth could put additional pressure on prices from Fed's hammock just out now. So maybe agreeing with one of our guests there. Wow, we have so many super chats, but we got to pass it back over to Neil.
Well, we're definitely get to those super chats because I bet you some people, whether you're super chatting or just in our chat, we've seen it all the time. You got the right read, right setup, wrong size. The truth is, you got the skills, but the account's too small. Trade Funder's changing that. For $100K for stocks and $25K for options today, you can keep 80%. You get paid every Friday, and you never risk your own money. It's $9.99 to start, and you're refunded on your first qualifying payout. You start in hours. No evaluation or background checks, just you and the size trading that you've been missing. So you can scan the QR code you see on screen right now. That's tradefunder.com. Choose stocks or options as an opportunity. I see Joey Options also getting ready. We do have a couple of super chats.
Joey Options is working again? This guy never stops.
He's right there. See, the downgrades have the red.
Saying. It's like,
do the upgrades get the green, though? That's
the minute, yeah. He's always ready. It's just, is the screen ready?
The screen.
I think the screen's ready. And I have to ask everybody out there, like, are you guys ready for more Joe? Like, because he's coming about now.
All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the analyst actions here this morning. We're going to kick things off with some downgrades. On the top of our list here, we have StubHub down over 18% here, guys. B of A going from a neutral way to an underperform here, and we're reducing our price target to $7.50. That's down from 11. But the firm also cites that with the World Cup catalyst in the past, StubHub's growth will start to slow, but also noting the firm says StubHub faces pressure on volume in the second half of 2026, regardless if the NFL season and NHL season are starting up. Moving forward, we're going to take a look at an additional downgrade here, guys. Cerebras outperform rating, but we're going to get our price target cut from $310 to $300 by Mizuho. We're down 15% here this morning, but the firm also notes it's a buyer of the stock on the post-earnings sell-off, and the rent-back capacity headwinds will rebound in the December quarter, still holding that outperform rating. Now let's take a look at some more positive things. Even though we're negative 6% here, guys, Rosenblatt holding that buy rating, but increasing its price target here on Cisco to $165. That's up from $150, but the firm views the company's fiscal Q4 report as a strong result across nearly all of its products. Cisco also offered robust revenue guidance for Q1 fiscal 2027. Moving forward, we have 5 below, guys, getting the upgrade here by Jefferies, going from a hold to a buy. We're up 3.25% here, but we're getting a pretty good price target increase, $350. That's up from $210. But the firm cites 5 is transforming from a trend-driven retailer into a durable growth story with rising productivity. The company is seeing high single-digit unit growth, structurally higher than higher comps, and accelerating earnings growth as well too. Last but not least, we have Salesforce here up 1.5%, overweight rating, and a $250 price target by JP Morgan. The firm sees the company's core business accelerating in the second half of fiscal 2027. But I think one of the bigger issues here are concerns regarding disruption to CRM's position with enterprise adoption of frontier AI models. I think that's been the narrative here for Salesforce. Let's send it back to Sean.
So good call out there about Salesforce, but I actually like this 5 below upgrade because it's not below anything right now. This is another one of those names, and I mean, you know, shout out to all of our friends, obviously south of the border there in the United States. This is another one. It's Target, it's 5 below, like those are, and then Trader Joe's, which I'm trying to tell Joe about. So you know, he tells me about all these great restaurants and stores. I got to tell him Trader Joe's. Those are the 3 names that we have to go to every time we're in the United States. So it's 5 below, it's Target, and it's Trader Joe's. And those are all ones that we don't have here in Canada. And yeah, look at this chart, man. 5 below is on what a streak, right? I mean, cannot believe this. Like just to have bought this stock down there, you would have had to hold it against yourself like if you're buying it off the 200 period moving average. But that's like this is from July 8th. There's what, like maybe 3 days down, 2 days down right there, maybe a day there. And yeah, here we go. So 5 below really working out, man. And yeah, I like that stock as far as retail. Looks like it's trying to break out right now and just take out some more highs. So 5 below looks like it wants to continue to work. You know, it's always in those outdoor malls, which I think get great foot traffic. But yeah, it looks like that wants to continue to work itself out as well. So I like that name better than the dollar stores. I don't know. That's just the way that I look at it. We can look at Dollar General, that chart as well, and see what that's doing. But Salesforce, yeah, I mean, it's had a great run. You know, and I always think that when people are so negative about something, sometimes it's well overdone. And this didn't really have the Aschenbrenner bottom type of thing. Made its way back into 150 there in the situational awareness. That wasn't really coming after CRM so much as some of those data centers. It was more selling off the software names and buying some of the data centers. So now you can see this name coming back up, and wow, like who would have thought CRM would have made it all the way back to the 200 period moving average? I mean, this stock has been really cooked since February, and it's just bouncing off these key levels. So a nice little upgrade there. It was an upgrade for CRM, wasn't it, Joe? Yeah, so that upgrade there for Salesforce today looks to be holding. If it can break through this $200 marker right there, then yeah, why not, man? I mean, that's your 200 period. hey, maybe there's something here. 200 period, $200. I mean, hey, doesn't happen often, but it's happening right now on Salesforce. So I think that name could definitely break through. So Salesforce, I like that name, up 1.5% today and can continue to go. So yeah, I like the name Salesforce today.
Bounced off a really good monthly level. Mm-hmm. It took a while to get there, and you had to wade through a lot, unfortunately, for Salesforce. But it took a while, but we got there. Arthur is asking again, give us some, I just read the rest of that. Give us a winning SpaceX play, and I tattoo your name. I mean, tattoos be permanent. Look, obviously, we're going to be looking at the 150 level. Is it going to finally break that today? The thing about a breakout trade is there is no trade if it doesn't break. And everybody knows that. If it doesn't break out 150, you can't take a 150 breakout trade. But that's the first place and first level to look at. We know the 140 is going to be, I mean, psychologically, +2 was a prior high. That should be a little something if it dips back in. But Ronnie Boy has got a super chat as well. The best show with the best audience. I agree. We've got a fantastic audience, and you guys are such a great community, supportive, knowledgeable, the whole nine. XHG, you hopped in at 246. I just saw a lot of people mentioning this one in the chat exchange. You got out at 3, 4, and 5 for a 3K profit in 3 minutes. This one went fast. So it was such a big move up. I'm not trusting that wick because I wasn't watching when that happened. So I'm gonna make the assumption. Usually I see this and I assume it's fugazi, that it didn't really go to 18. But Sharif's saying it's real, and people are saying that it really did go that far. But it's done a lot of volume here. XHE, it's 20 million in vol. All right, let's find what's the story with exchange? So yeah, okay, so here we go. The non-binding letter of intent to acquire Hong Kong-based AI technology company first. So they're making an acquisition and going ham. That's non-binding. Okay, well, as usual, stop me if you've heard this one before. It is a Chinese ADR with a decent float, actually 46 million float. The float's bigger than I would have expected. I was expecting to see a much smaller float, but the ones that seem to go the most ballistic in terms of obscene returns percentage-wise, they tend to be Chinese ADRs. It is what it is. It's not for any particular reason that we're pointing out, except for if you're in one of them and it's going, when they do go, they tend to move a little bit more. Though this does have a bigger float than most. There is a story here, although usually an acquisition wouldn't mean that you go up 18x, and you are seeing it start to come back. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I don't think it'd surprise anybody. You've probably, a lot of times if you see this, you've seen the high for the day most times. That $18 is completely insane. But congrats that you got that one. You always want to make sure you bank profit on these, for sure. So Sharif, I mean, I'm certain if this one can hold on to it, it'll be on your radar. How high on the list is it going to make it, though? Because it is another Chinese ADR.
Look, Neil, it's already failing here. So this is the 5-minute chart on XHG, topping tail candle into 750. Then you had a doji candle, the 845 candle, and now this current candle, the 850 candle, is breaking that area low. Now we're still above the volume weighted average price. The price action developed very quickly here. So that volume weighted average price sitting basically right at 3 4/5, maybe 3 1/4. Hard to tell from here. It'll have to hold this level. I don't like something like this because clearly somebody got squeezed short, but the algorithm was obviously fast enough that it pushed the sell right back down because this is a real print. I don't get dark pools on this platform. So I know for a fact that it did actually make it up there. Now, if you guys want to see a little bit more of the details about how the price action developed, drop into a shorter time frame. Go 5-second, 10-second time frame if your platform allows, just to see how the dynamics were. But, with this one, Adara, unless, it can regain trend, I'm going to stay away.
Let's talk about a name that's moving parabolically here, but certainly not a small cap, though I definitely was at one point. You've got IREN. IREN here, an update with their Horizon 1 deal with Microsoft. This is a $9.7 billion contract, first to 4 50-megawatt deployments. Exactly.
Horizon 1, that makes this the first of 4 50-megawatt deployments. I'm echoing what you said, but this is what I've got over here. It's going to be at the Childress, Texas campus. It's going to be a 5-year deal, $9.7 billion, as Adara mentioned. But the company achieved something notable here. NVIDIA exemplar cloud status. I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it is. Specifically on the GB300 and the NVLink as well, which is as important as we know now, networking. And that's after successful testing at their Horizon 1 facility. It validates their ability to deal with the GB300 at scale, and that makes them possibly a candidate for other hyperscale opportunities. Look, Adara, they remain on track to expand their AI gross capacity from 480 megawatts. They're looking for 1.2 gigawatts by the end of next year, and they plan to build on this momentum by delivering Horizon 2 as well. Horizons 2 through 4 with Microsoft later this year.
Yeah, lots to look at here for IREN. It's one that a lot of our traders in the chat are looking at. Are either of you looking to trade this name today?
I mean, the catalyst may not be like, I don't know, that award they got. Maybe you never heard of it, but most people have probably heard of IREN. I like the rounded bottom that it put in. You get this 44 resistance, and it popped up, faded 44 again in July, and then you get the gap yesterday, because a lot of things were strong, right? So the gap up yesterday goes right to the 44 and holds. So even if it pulls back and loses VWAP, it's still got the 44 level to confirm the breakout, which gives it some juice to go. We've seen double digits on IREN before. Like, that's not unheard of. If it was, I don't know, maybe like a month, it was like a month or so ago, it had like a 2 or 3 day good rally after a previous breakout. So I do like that. It can lose VWAP and still have 44 underneath. For now, it is holding VWAP rather nicely. So if it holds VWAP at the open, then play off of that. If it starts closing the gap, I know that I want to be buying into the 44 level for IREN. Volume's good. Obviously, it's doing pretty good relative volume in the pre-market, so it's kind of ticking a lot of boxes here for IREN. I mean, the market's even getting a little bit bullish as we speak.
The market's picking up here.
Yeah, I just thought, I mean, the Qs, whatever, the SPY Qs doesn't really matter. The Qs getting right back to almost pre-market highs and back into the green. We're briefly, not much, like slightly red, I believe, at the lowest, and now ticking back in the green, back above VWAP. So things looking a little bit better after the number.
Yeah, I was going to just mention this here. I think it's pretty funny. What's up to Travis Badger here? It's too close to Iran, so they're staying away. So Iran and Iran over there. So yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to stay away from Iran there today. Just I feel like it's going to fall back in, unfortunately. But you know, who knows? I prefer the short on some of those levels. I mean, SpaceX making a move down 147 to 145.50. I don't know if it's a flush. People in this chat were talking about this name maybe flushing right now. I think you just got to wait for those imbalances that are going to come, honestly, in 30 minutes. They're still ways away before we see anything significant on SpaceX, right? You know, a good hold level here of 144. I'm just writing the note down right now to see what we think about. But I think it's worth waiting today and being patient to see if 150 comes back. You know, like you had such a huge move yesterday, and we called that 134. I mean, it's what we had on the note, 134 bottom. And we talked about that a lot yesterday because I didn't have it. But again, where it came from was looking in the past day and trying to find a spot that might have had some kind of interest in it. And again, you're always throwing darts, right? I mean, I don't have that crystal ball. And that's what's like, it's like, it seems like we've had it the last little while, but like not confident enough to like really load up on any of these levels. But that was a good one. And you don't need to load up. You know, if you're going to, even if you take 100 shares, that's a $15 move there yesterday. That's $1,500. Obviously, you're not going to hold it the whole way. But if you're going to do the same sort of look as yesterday on SpaceX, and maybe we're going to get this, we have the rundown coming soon. This level would be 144.50. I think that's too shallow. Like, I think you got to go a little bit further down. So, and we got some super chats about what to look for on SpaceX today. I'm going to look here, 141 as a potential zone to look to buy, because that's $4 down. $4 up is 150. So right now I feel like you're caught sort of in the middle here, on SpaceX, where anything could happen. Anything can happen down here too. We could break. Thing is, at least if we break down here, the next levels is 140, 139. Like, I think you're going to take a $1, $2, $3 hit. If you're started messing around with a stock in here, I feel like that's exactly what you're doing. You're going to be second guessing some of your positions, because I can feel pretty choppy until we get somewhere. So I'm just going to wait on SpaceX. That's the idea that I have there. And there's a lot of talk, obviously, in the chat about this name. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening with SpaceX. Market just kind of doing nothing again, trying to figure itself out. At least it's now above VWAP. So I'm working on this, guys. Just been busy this AM. So we've got a couple names on here, just looking for a few more. But yeah, IREN, good stock. I was just joking about that IREN versus Iran talk. I saw that in the chat. Pretty good. So, but yeah, here comes SpaceX again, flushing, I guess, now might be the right term. If we break this 144.50, then you could get an eventual flush down. And remember, if you're trading here at Real Trading, you do have to pay for shorts. It's like a cent a share. It's absolutely nothing. So, you know, get that into your account now if you're looking for a short play here on SpaceX.
Ooh, it's already 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't know. 772.40 is where we closed out on the SPY yesterday. We're up 0.25% now. We're just below 775, and that is the range we keep rejecting off. It's 770 as support. I know I sound like a broken record, but the chart is what it is. It's 770 as support, Adira, and 775 as resistance.
You definitely can't resist checking out our free Trader TV Live watch list. You can find that, again, for free at the link that is in our description and on the URL that's going to be on your screen. What does this have, you may ask? This has a list of all of the different stories that we're going to be watching today, the biggest movers, things that could be on watch, events that are going to be on the docket that have already happened. We've got economic data, for example, PPI today. So if you want to be prepared for the market, you definitely have to check out this free watch list. SpaceX. This is the name that was at the top of our watch list, and I'm sure might be in the top of Sean's sticky note, which is coming out right now. Elon Musk was very active on X yesterday. The stock was already doing pretty well, Sharif. We had, of course, this whole Grok 4.6 announcement. Then Elon goes and says 4.7 is going to be even better, and the stock gets even closer to that key 150 level.
But what was better was the video of him pretending to be Austin Powers. No, shout out to Elon. All right, here's what we got. We got Grok 4.6. We have a 500,000 token context window. It integrates Cursor. It integrates Grok Build, and it works with APIs. But this move yesterday, let's be honest about it, it wasn't just Grok stimulated. The short covering, Adira, the short interest is down from 34% last week to 11%, according to S3 Partners. So a lot of people have covered their shorts on this as we get to that critical 150 resistance level, which we did reject yesterday. Post-training optimization, very important. So 4.6, Grok 4.6, is not a bigger model than 4.5. It builds on the same parameters. However, what it does have is what they've funneled the money to, is what I should say, is reinforcement learning, agentic coding environments, and what they're calling a new X-high reasoning tier rather than just training a massive new parameter footprint. They didn't want to go down that route. They wanted to fine-tune what they thought was already a good model in 4.5. But the pricing here, this is what is going to move the needle. We're talking about $2 per 1 million input tokens and about $6 per 1 million output tokens. Just to give you an idea, that's 60% cheaper than the competing model at OpenAI, which is called 5.6 Sol. And it's about 75% cheaper than Anthropic's frontier model. So Elon clearly, kind of reading the room. He gets that the cost per token is aggravating a lot of the hype, the corporate guys who are going to spend money on this, and he's looking to win them over. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. We know that there's more expiration coming up, lockup expiration. We have another 319 million shares that are going to unlock, on August 20th, and then 700 million between September and October.
Yeah, I think speaking of these, AI names and of IPO, Sharif, I was reading Anthropic. People are saying maybe a $2 trillion valuation. This IPO could be happening in September or October. Is this something that you would be interested in?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know that I use Claude. I love Claude. I think Claude is the best one out there. It is the most level-headed. It gives you consistency. Other models, they're on one day, they're off one day, something that I'm going to invest in.
Yeah, someone who's been using Claude lately, I'm tempted to agree in terms of how the model performs. How are you guys looking to perform on SpaceX today? Where do you think we're going to get this 150?
Well, it's looking less and less likely. That being said, yesterday, it set up a short yesterday, and thankfully, it was just an easy get the heck out when it caught the bid at the pre-market low. But I was looking for what had happened the day before, which is just a simple fail break at the open and reversal play. And that's exactly what it did, but it bounced off the pre-market low, and when it got back through VWAP, that's actually what we were talking about in the afternoon, that a lot of those earnings plays yesterday, like NBIS and CoreWeave did, where it was the VWAP regain on the gap up. Well, if you're looking for short on a false break, it does the same thing, you just get out, and then from there, it was off to the races. I don't know if it's going to be 150, but if it does another immediate fail breakout, yeah, I like that short setup. It's a little bit weaker today, given the fact that it got to the 150 level. But I think you got to be willing to play it in both directions. Like, I was willing to just take what we could get early and then jump out of the short, and then was looking at the other names like the CoreWeave's long. But I think today, if it does break 150, you got to be willing to reverse. But we haven't yet, so I'm going to be looking for that pop and fade as a first idea. But it has to be that distinct. There's the rejection. There's the hold under. And then go for the low. In this case, it's already hit the low, so patience is going to be required because it's not really setting that up. We're $3 away from the pre-market high here, and we're only trending down. So I suspect this won't be a first 5-minute trade, but you never know.
Look, I've already said my piece on SpaceX, so I'll just show you what I wrote down here. The sticky note's now out. 150 long break, so I'm only looking for that, or a dip into that 141. So it's being pushed down here in the pre-market, but you know, at the end of the day, I'll put that up there. If you go join it, it's right there now in the chat. You can go find it. A couple other names on there. I'll go let you find it. But yeah, I looked at that 141. If you saw me or heard me talk about this literally 5 minutes ago, didn't realize it would be number one on the list there today, but right into there. So 141. And yesterday we picked out 1/3. Whoopsies, we're still on the ellipse. Get out of there. Yesterday we picked up 34s as a potential low, and that worked out. So right now we're going to pick out 41s or so to see if SpaceX wants to come flying into that level or not. So we'll wait, but yeah, maybe it needs to be grounded, I guess, into 141. So we'll see. 140, 141 for SpaceX. I mean, up or down $5 from here is a sneeze. So we'll wait to see what happens with SpaceX moving forward right now. Apparently, Gia just got a sick goal, but Marissa doesn't have footage, so she's looking around for that. So maybe we'll get that in a little bit. There we can see some hockey highlights in August. All right, SpaceX right now. She has volleyball tonight, so it never stops. Oh, and Joe, Marissa said, what do we want for dinner tonight? I said I'll stop at Farm Boy on the way home. Look for some of those burgers and maybe get some Wagyu burgers there, maybe potentially, Joe. Let's see how the trading goes today. Will it be Wagyu? Will it be ground chuck? You never know what we'll be trading today and what our numbers will look like at the end of the day. But yeah, SpaceX for me is only a long, no shorts, unless something obviously sets up. But I'm looking for the 150 break long as the first idea.
Yeah, let's take a look here at CBRS, Cerebras, whatever you want to call it. It's down. I was seeing as much as 18% this morning. And with Cerebras, you've got a really, really mixed earnings report. This is their second report ever. Revenue miss, gross margin, big miss. Yes, there's not a lot of positivity here.
No, I don't like missing on the top line because it makes me feel like maybe there isn't as much demand for your product as the market had predicted. Sometimes when you miss on the bottom line, it's operational, but the top line is concerning. $180.1 million. That misses the $194 million expected by analysts. Adjusted loss per share came in better. They lost 5 pennies per share versus the 17 the street was expecting them to lose. Let's talk about this, though, because they have a clear divergence here in where revenue's coming from. The cloud. Their cloud division is absolutely ripping Adara, 281% year over year, $126 million in top line. But when you look at their hardware, 54.1, that misses substantially the 73.1 million the analysts were looking for there. So something to think about. They tried to blame it a little bit on the delayed chip for their clients. We'll see if they can make that up. They're saying they're going to make it up in the second half of the year. Let's see. They also have a lot of post-IPO charges, about $387 million that they're blaming on stock-based compensation. The good news about this is it's a one-line item and won't reoccur next quarter, so could help profitability there. But, you know, I know your affinity for RPO, Adara. Yes. And this one has got a big RPO here, $25.4 billion. They got the likes of OpenAI, AWS, and AMD all as clients. And they did raise the guide. Let's see if they can actually meet it. They're saying, look, for full year 2026, we're going to make about 880 to 890 million on the top line. Previous estimates were 855 to 865.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to me that they reported literally just 2 months ago, and I'm wondering if this really truncated reporting schedule was just because they had their IPO, they wanted to get those results out fast. But yeah, something to be aware of. I wonder if that'll settle out. Either way here, CBRS, this one you two are looking at to trade.
Yeah, I'm with Sharif and not really liking that the revenue miss. I just feel like when you're at this point and you're not necessarily positive yet, you want to hit that metric for sure. So unfortunately, it was it was poised that if they blew it out, it was going to be a great opportunity to have broken out above 250. Instead, you get an abject failure through that price. It's not at down 17%, but it's not at an obvious bounce spot, which would sit closer to 200, like the 50 period's 204, and that's where recent support is. You're $12 away from that, absolutely could get there. That's about the only play that I would look for at these prices would be that, I guess, like SSR bounce. Now we're down over 10%. Look for it to get to that 50 period on the daily and maybe ramp from there. Didn't really want to. If it starts going, this is one that I don't think I'd want to be trying to fade if it catches a bid. More just wait for it to look to make a bottom. Whether it hits that 50 period today, tomorrow, that can be a spot to look to pick it up. Yeah, the mixed report is not going to do it any justice. And then you have to also factor in, it's unfortunate. It'll look worse than it is because it did rally $20 yesterday. So that just makes this move look even worse. If you consider it from yesterday's open, then it's not quite as bad, but unfortunately, 17% is what it is. I'd be waiting for a little bit lower, closer to 200.
Look, yesterday we had SMCI long at 35 break, right? And the reason why I liked it was had better margins, and that was really all that mattered to me about SMCI. Like, we know that these guys are going to sell a lot. We didn't know the same thing about Cerebras. Obviously, a little bit of a newer name there. Obviously, and as Neil said, we don't like entry if we don't like that miss on revenue. But I think that will come back. But I was worried about the shrinking margins, 14%. So I would almost say the opposite here today and go short, opposite of what SMCI did, go short on this 214 break. Like, that's the low of the pre-market rate here. And that's 7 a.m. Like, I think if it breaks that, you could be in for quite a nice move lower here today. I'm just a little nervous because I haven't really ever, I don't think, traded this name ever. So I don't know about what the spread looks like, but I do think that this break of 214, and let's timestamp this. It's 9/11 right now. We'll look back at this probably at like 9:45, and we'll see what winds up happening there. But I think you can get pretty aggressive on this here level. So you see this here level, 214. I think that's a break short. Might not even be there by the time the market opens up. But yeah, I'd be going short, man. Underneath everything, underneath VWAP, underneath. Market's moving down. The Nasdaq was moving. I don't know what's doing now, but I don't necessarily know about this short level there. Like, I don't think I would wait for 223. I think I just play the momentum short break of 214. So there you go. And I just don't know what the slippage would look like to take this in the pre-market. So let it open up, let the imbalances settle. And of course, these imbalances won't show NASDAQ names right now. So hard to see what's going on in the overall market because so many of these names that we talk about, literally all of the names on the watch list there are all NASDAQ names. So
always.
You got to be careful with them here today. Not much going on until 9:25. But I think Cerebras, unfortunately, is a sell. And then I think you pick it up, right? I mean, 180 was its IPO price. So you can come back in somewhere into 180. I think that's a buy if it gets into there, and you deal with it after that. So I still like Cerebras, maybe for a longer term play if you get back to that level. But for today, it looks like a 214 break short. All right, man. People in the chat yesterday were wondering about Netflix, and I actually talked about it. There was a little bit of an imbalance there last night on Netflix. Let's go find out the reason why.
I actually found this story really interesting. So the man on my screen here, his name is Bill Ackman. You might be familiar with him. He's disclosed, and actually, just recently they disclosed their holdings. They're still holding names like Uber. And they actually added Netflix, a name that Bill Ackman and Pershing Square, his firm, have a pretty bad history with going back a couple years.
Yeah, he lost a lot of money on this. And I think they reported earnings as well, Pershing Square, the actual fund that he, I think, IPO'd or whatever earlier this year. Anyway, he's got 6 new holdings. Pershing, one of them, of course, is Netflix. He got Visa, MasterCard, a little redundant there, but Alcon International Exchange, and he did add S&P Global. This is his biggest portfolio shakeup in years, according to the report. Shares were acquired starting the second half of this year, and they're being held across multiple funds that he has, including, again, PS, which is tradable on the North American markets. The growth thesis is he expects earnings to get better for these companies. That's as basic as it gets. But it's been a really busy year for Bill Ackman and company. He listed, of course, PS on the NYSE. He fully exited, I should say, that $1.5 billion stake he had in Universal Music after they basically shunned his acquisition request for about $65 billion. So he's had very little in the way of free time, Adira.
Yeah, and he also really likes writing very lengthy posts. I was trying to find his post here on Netflix. This is like, you guys can see where the little scroller is. This is their Q2 update.
Wow.
I could keep going. A lot of this is, him describing in detail all these new investments. This is the Netflix one. So I just wanted to kind of go through to show you guys. It's roughly a page on NFLX. If you want to read that, he's attached the link to one of his many, many posts on X.
Yeah, he's like the opposite of the vague posters, where you just post something which everyone's like, what? What are you talking about? What do you mean? And then they start responding because you have no idea. See so much of that in fantasy. But I'll agree on one thing. This is a nice level. This is a nice level for Netflix. On the monthly chart, we had probably mentioned this at the end of last month, or maybe it was on the first, sometime around there. The bottoming tail into the 50 period on the monthly for a reversal on Netflix looks nice. So this month, so far, so good. It looks like it's going to be green, but not even halfway through. Obviously, it's a monthly chart. You won't know until the end of the month. But it needs to break out this top. And this 70, it's 76, 90, but just call it 77. And when you see it on the daily chart, like there's your hold of the 50 period, there's your higher lows, and then you can even go to like the earnings dump day. Like that top wick is just underneath 77. So you have a lot lining up for that breakout. It's not there. Its volume is good, more on the good than great. And it's not above that price, but that's a potential breakout at 77. On the longer time frame, I do like that monthly level. I think as long as it closes this month, holding on to that wick support, then yeah, I actually like Netflix for buy. The difference being, if it gives you the jaunt like it did last time on the reversal, like it went to 110 on the last one off of the 80, you got to be able to ring the register because it's still in a downward trend. And when it's in a downward trend, you want to make sure you take advantage of the pops when you can.
Yeah, I'm not selling any of my Netflix shares because of anything like this. I think it's obviously a good thing. I mean, if you can break, that's the split. So let's get away from that. Yeah, it looks like you're going to get all this garbage out of here. Like I think Netflix continues to win long term, right? I like the aspect of the live sports. We've talked about that a little bit. Even though they have like some pretty shitty UFC cards or whatever, they still put up huge numbers. You know, like whenever Jake Paul or any of those fights happen on Netflix, they're just absolutely banger numbers. And the athletes are getting paid every single time as well. So it's like, it's all falling back on the consumer. And I think they can continue to raise prices if they want to. I think customers are pretty sticky there. But yeah, you know, Bill Ackman's in it, so you should get a little bit of a bump up here as activist investing has been, you know, definitely a sort of a boon to stock price valuation. So yeah, 78 looking pretty good right there to come through. I think a break of that probably happens today for Netflix. Well, it's 76, so you still got to go, but that would be the level that you're looking at there. And again, not a heavily day traded name by us, but you know, the 200 periods at 75. So you're getting close to that again. So if we drop down into 75 bucks, I think Netflix is a buy. I like it. I think it's a good thing. If you're in the name, it's good that Bill Ackman's with you now. So yeah, just hold and see what winds up happening there for NFLX. I mean, Warner Brothers is down, Paramount is down. I mean, it's not the greatest environment right now anyway. So here's WBD. Well, actually, maybe we can.
That's been bouncing.
Yeah, 27, 28 bucks right now. News. So that's good. That's still supposed to go out at 30, I believe, right? So 25, nice little upside there. So let's see what PSKY is doing. Just because these are the ones that are apparently, you know, won the Warner Brothers bid there. And you could see that that's, you know, been hit as well to the downside, right? I don't know exactly when that decision was made. Maybe it was made back in here in March, where he spiked up to 14, went all the way back to $8. So, you know, Netflix is not alone in this space of heading to the downside. I mean, is there anything unique about streaming anymore? You know, there's Peacock, there's the Hulus, there's everything all wrapped into one. Paramount themselves, you know, they all have that option. So yeah, they're swimming and playing in quite a large pool right now is Netflix. But I still like it. You know, we watch it all the time. Different shows showing up there, the content's there. My wife started really watching all the Law and Orders. They're all on there now. So there you go. So shout out to Adair. She says she loves nothing more than getting her coffee in the morning and then waiting for the kids to wake up and watching an episode or two of Law and Order. Yeah, no, she's really all about it right now. Like every time I open up Netflix, it's on Law and Order. So shout out there. And I think that that's just one of the things that they can keep on pushing, right? The new content comes on, it sort of relives people, and then they go in there and they start to watch different shows. But yeah, I don't know. I like Netflix. $78 break is what you're sort of looking for. It's good to have this sort of head or tailwind behind you with Bill Ackman. So. Yeah. 920 right now. Oh, here we go. ONDIS.
Speaking of 920.
What's up to Dane Generous there in the chat? Loves ONDS.
And it's at 920.
There we go.
Yeah, I was going to shout out Marissa Katina there for the Law and Order love. Great show, classic content. Let's take a look here. Yeah, thank you for that, Andre. Let's take a look at ONDS, though, because ONDIS, or Joe, whoever pressed the Law and Order button there. ONDS, though, trading to the downside. You had an EPS miss here, larger than expected loss per share. Sales beat and guidance mixed. It was better than expected for fiscal year, but kind of tepid for Q3.
It is. But what I see positive here is just the growth of the industry.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you some comps of what they were looking at last year. They're not profitable. They don't expect to be profitable for a little bit. But listen to this, guys. So their backlog, whatever you want to call the backlog here, was $68.3 million in Q2 of 2025. It is now $757 million backlog. So the demand is insatiable. They obviously don't have the capacity to meet any of that demand, nor will they for a couple of years, but it just shows you the trajectory of where kind of war is going, right? I mean, this doesn't happen by accident anyway. As Adira mentioned, Q2 loss. They had revenue of $83.77 billion. That's 1,236% increase year over year. Another, figure giving you a direction of where war is going. That beat the expectations by almost $20 million of $68 million expected by the street. But their adjusted EBITDA continues to widen, of course, as they invest more in R&D and capacity expansion that requires money. And their full year guided, their 2026 revenue, they're saying 525 to 550. They guided last time about 390. Let's see how they do.
Yeah, and I do think just to talk about the growth in this space. So this is ONDIS quarterly revenue all the way from Q1 2021. And then you really start to see us explode to the upside over the last few quarters. This includes Q2 2026. So yeah, I think this really shows, as Sharif was saying, the growth in the sector, and especially the growth for this company here, ONDS. Is this one that you guys are potentially considering as a trade?
Oh, this was so much potential over 10 if it could have just blown it out. But at the same time, the reason why it has so much potential, that 41% short float still exists, right? Like there might be some covering into the downprint. I don't know. It's not impossible, and maybe you do see that. But if it gets to like an 850 level, I think it's got to be worth a shot for a rebound trade. But given how distinct that bounce was, when I was going over the names and looking for the plays, this bounce, I didn't see how much buying came in at about 880, which was wild. It came right back in, and then it goes right into the prior day low. So if it can just even get above VWAP, there's a good gap fill if it starts holding above the volume weighted average price and retake the 10. Other than that, it's more like a wait for the 850 level because that's a significant one on the daily. But with that 40% short float, it always makes me favor, hey, let's see if you can find a bit of a dead cat bounce and then get some momentum into it. Don't necessarily want to be selling something that heavily short when it's off the lows. If you were a sniper at VWAP at 809, congratulations. I think that was the place that you could have reasonably played it with a reasonable risk on ONDS. So yeah, probably, maybe it gets there. I mean, it's only 6% down. So what are you talking about? Like another 60 pennies? That's possible, very possible.
Yeah, I think this is a great stock to hold. I think more of a long-term play there, especially with those numbers now coming through, right? I mean, if you just look up here on the details, you still have a 41% short float. Like that's unbelievable. 41% short float, like for a market cap 6 billion. Like I feel like that's a lot on a short float right there. So a little bit, as Neil said, a little bit disappointed that it didn't take out that $10 mark again there. But I still think this does have a good chance of rebounding. It's just about trying to find out where that bottom eventually is. So I'm gonna have to say that 850 looks like the spot where you might get some support. So for me, yeah, waiting for that level. But then, like I said, I think you scoop it. Like I like this name. The more I read about it, it's probably better. And again, I'm very, very light into Big Bear AI. Like I said, it's maybe I don't know, half of 1%, not even of my portfolio, maybe actually way less than that. What am I even talking about? But ONDS there with the private networks, wireless communications, the stable connectivity, like this is what those drones, this is what they're built off of, is the drones, networking, you know, something where you need constant communication. They build these networks and they have tons of contracts with large entities. So I like ONDS moving forward. I think it's the right space. I think it has the right technology. And I don't know if they play by themselves in that sandbox or not. That would be the next thing to look at. Who are their major competitors and what they're looking like? But I think this is a good name because an announcement of a new contract or anything like that with that kind of a short float really moons this thing. So I would just, I'd continue to go long. But for today, earnings, always difficult to trade earnings names, especially the day one. So let the markets figure it out. And I think if you get an opportunity to buy an 850, I think you can set it and forget it for a little while on ONDS. So again, like the name there, and think it's one that is deserving of something in a portfolio today with ONDS.
Yeah, let's take a look here at our last story of the day, Cisco. This name dumping like a truck after earnings. I have to say, this report didn't look too bad to me on first look, and it looks like initially we had traders like this, but then giving it all the way back. We're still near pre-market lows. This was down, I was thinking as much as 6-7%.
So I'll get to the report in a second, but one thing that really stood out to me immediately here was they took 99% of their free cash flow and they gave it back to investors in dividends. They didn't invest anything. So this is super bizarre to me, especially in a space where we're seeing CapEx continue to expand, whether you're increasing capacity, whether you're outputting new products. They took 99% of the $12.7 billion they had in free cash flow and gave it back in terms of share buybacks or dividends. Sorry, I missed the dividends part here. So that was a little bewildering to me. But anyway, the report was pretty decent, $17.25 billion in revenue, up 18% year over year with EPS adjusted, that is. 122 beating the 117 expected by analysts, and record GAAP net income jumping 51% year over year up to $3.86 billion. They, in one quarter, this is Q4 for them. Again, one of those anomalous fiscal, I don't know why they do that, but anyway, $4 billion in one single quarter for orders here, and most of it came for their Acacia, which basically is one of their divisions there. Revenue was split between 60% going to Silicon One-based custom switching systems and 40% optics, that is led by Acacia, of course. And then obviously the news dip here, even though they did raise full year guide. I think they're guiding now $72.2 to $73.4 billion. That's 14 to 16% growth.
Yeah, and as you mentioned here, this is Q4 for them, so it's also fiscal 2026. This is like 31 years of Cisco growth. You can really see the extent to which this company has grown. Again, 12% year-over-year revenue growth for the fiscal year.
Yeah, and like you can see, like that, the revenue continues to glide higher, and the stock is kind of tapered off and going into a bull flag. I think while that happens, logic would suggest that you want to buy the dip, because you can only have that upward sloping revenue growth for so long and stagnant stock price. It doesn't happen forever. That said, I disagreed with someone in the chat that was like, oh, they've got a bid at 114. The support seems like it's between 110 and 112 on the daily chart. Like that's where the consolidation was last time. So I think that's the spot. I think get it a couple dollars down, give it the 3-day rule. I think you're more good to go there. There were just some imbalances I just saw. IBIT was the only one that was over. It was 500,000. Now it's like only 400,000 shares. I actually still like that one to the south side. I don't think we didn't see 36.25, which that's the area I wanted to look for the short. Might have to play that whole fail break at the open and then short the VWAP or trace. Is IBIT the only imbalance of note that I see? Small one on Apple of a couple 100,000 shares. That's about it for the imbalance locator.
Yeah, I saw SpaceX was a small little 100,000 buy, but it was, it's not really doing anything. The other name on the locator was Apple, which actually had a nice bid, right? And so I don't know if it's still there. Yeah, so well, it's not. It's only 200,000. Like it's such a small number, but at least it's starting to go up with that. There's your space of Virgin Galactic. We touched on that a little bit today. That's down 13%. IREN with a little bit. There's Nokia. IREN with a little bit of a bid as well. So it's like very much buy side there today to start the day. But yeah, it's only 2 minutes until we go. I like Cisco. I think Cisco is a buy on dips as well. I like the cybersecurity angle. And I was actually talking with Baxter today in the car. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that like Palo Alto was now like the second or third largest holding in the portfolio. Maybe time to trim some of that, but I love the cybersecurity angle. I mean, and he agreed with me as someone who works in this space, said like, yeah, you got to hold on to those cyber names. Thoughts on Marvell? You now have November 20 long expiry at 340 now. I mean, I hope Marvell can get back up to those levels, but 340 is like why? I feel like, and again, obviously they're cheap, so you didn't spend that much on them, but it's just like, unless you did when they were up here, we can't expect the world that we've seen over the last 18 months in these spaces is not a normal world. Like for Marvell to get back up to 340 means it has 50% more to go from here to November. Earnings, you're not going to get another earnings. Well, I don't know when they report the next quarter, but that's going to be real tough. Marvell's always a late report. Yeah. So I don't really love that play, to be honest with you. I think if you're going to be a little more realistic, buy something that's, a 250, even a 300, and sure, if it gets to 300, those 340s will, obviously add some value. But I think we're like a little bit of a puff pass in what we've been doing lately. It's like everything's just been so euphoric to the upside that we're expecting 50% moves. That's just not in the world that we're supposed to be living in, but it is in the world that we are. So you might be onto something there. I just think 340. It's like if someone said, what do you think about 200 SpaceX calls? I think it's possible, but I just think it's such a huge move that we really need to get that great catalyst. And I wonder about AI and where those catalysts will be moving forward. So here we go, man. And name something called SpaceX. We'll be watching that today as well. I want to look at some CoreWeave. We didn't actually touch on Intel or NVIDIA really this morning, so we will look at those as well. But I did touch on the Qs, and the Qs was going to be a top trade for me today by the TQQs. It was the number one idea written on here, and it was a 75 to 75 quarter short. So I don't want to take it right now, but I feel like it just was right into the exact levels that we wrote, and now the pullback is happening. So let's be a little more patient and see if we can get it.
Yeah, we didn't talk about some of the day two plays either, whether it was that Nebius or SMCI or CoreWeave would be the other one. That's what I'm struggling to remember. But I did like we're not going to see 37 if it continues this break, but SMCI, first move, just broke higher. IBIT's doing nothing. SpaceX is actually quiet off the open. It went to 45, right back into 44, so it doesn't really do any kind of a false break. I guess it's a topping tail, but it's not really a false break of any highs. And super chat already, Oscar, Garcia, sorry. Buenos dias, Chipotle good or bad right now? I don't have a strong opinion on Chipotle. It's been tough for the group in a general sense, and I don't know if it's got a catalyst on it here today. I don't think it does, Adara. Is there a catalyst?
Chipotle fact. Today is the 2-year anniversary of when Brian Niccol left Chipotle to go to Starbucks, though he didn't start until September 9th. So just fun fact.
Okay. I mean, it's been a decent buy in the 30s, for lack of a better thing, but I'm not a gigantic fan of the space, so like it's something of a stay away from me. And without a catalyst today, I don't really see much going on. There goes IREN, so much for the dip that is absolutely rallying into the high. So I ran up 6%. They fulfilled a Microsoft deal. That was the story. And another super chat. This time from Richard.
Thanks, Richard. I do have a quick early position here on CoreWeave. Damn you, futures. All right, I wrote down CoreWeave on here. Watch out for 110. It just got right there real quick, like so. Yeah, we're watching out for it, all right. But there's a nice little move higher. And remember, I'm going to stop out at 112, right, where the players dwell. If it gets all the way up to there, and we're just going to stop out of that trade here on CoreWeave. Again, I like it up in this level, but yesterday's move was potentially. I thought it would get faded here today. So we'll just wait, man, and give it another $1. Again, we're probably in things a little too early here off the jump. But now, of course, it comes right back into a flat trade. So let's just bid something out at 110 if we can get it. And then we'll wait to see if it does drop back in for the rest of the day. This is just a CoreWeave trade from yesterday into that level. So, we do take a nice move higher here this morning. That's a big move, actually, 4%. So from 105 up to 110. A 111 right now, so now we're starting to fade back out just a little bit here on CoreWeave. Let's wait to see. The NASDAQ did make a move down, and CoreWeave made a move higher, so this trade might be bunked soon, especially if the futures do start to come right back to the northbound side. There it is. See, we could have just got out at 10.25s, but we didn't take it. So 12s is our out, $1.50. worth of risk here on CoreWeave. That's what we're starting with. But
SMCI.
I don't know anything about VCX. We'll have to take a look at that after.
Yeah, that's exactly. And thank you for the super chat there, Richard. I don't know that one either, but yeah, long-term price with initial lockup expiring today. Well, just don't get married to the notion that because a lockup is expiring that it has to go to the upside, but it's not as high profile as SpaceX and didn't really have the same type of move. I mean, look at the stock. Like that is, if something was trying to dead cat bounce, like that's kind of what it would look like on that VCX. I just dumped into IBIT, but SMCI, I can't get over how insane that was. It was back under VWAP.
Good move yesterday. What is it doing today?
Oh, yeah, I'll get there in a second, but stop at the high on IBIT. So just over 10 cents. I wanted 36, but we end up with 35.98. Distinction without a difference. But SMCI, unbelievable. It just tagged almost $40 there. So was it 37.5 for a couple of seconds at the open, and now just absolutely blasting higher. So this one feels like it's gone. I hate to tell you this, but SpaceX is still not moving. Like SpaceX is exactly where it was 2 minutes ago, the last time I talked to you guys, and it's not really going anywhere. So yeah, we'll just have to wait. We said it might be a patient story for SpaceX, and that's feeling like it's obviously true. So again, just IBIT, the first one for me, thinking this would be a little more active and give some kind of a pop or some kind of a play.
Look, man, yesterday's yesterday's top two stocks were CoreWeave and SMCI. So I'm in the CoreWeave today, and then SMCI we were in yesterday on that 35 break, as Neil just mentioned. That hits 40 and it's coming back down just a little bit right now. Marvell jumpy here early. Good call. We did get a shout out about Marvell earlier as well. So there goes Marvell.
Thanks, Randy.
220 upside on MRVL. Thanks, Randy. So that was a nice move there, as somebody had mentioned Marvell to us in the pre-market there, and that one's starting to go upside there. So we are moments away. 112 is our stop out on CoreWeave. Again, like we said, yesterday was a great stock. You know, yesterday we were going long at 106. Thought that today, the fact that we'd started lower, maybe we would not get a 111, 112 look, but that is what's happening right now. And look at the futures, man. Wow. Okay, well, we just got stopped out. I don't know. Should we got stopped out there? Did it break? I don't know if that broke, guys. There, but I don't know why that stopped us out. Oh, damn. Must have been a dark pool. So now I'll chase this down and wait to see if that dark pool does hit again somehow. But yeah, a little bit of a negative. Oh, that's too bad. I don't know if that broke. I mean, it says it broke 16s there. We actually got O's exactly out, so it wasn't a huge hit or anything there. But oh, damn. Look where this is coming back down into now. So we might have had a decent spot there on core. Oh, there it goes. 112.50s now to give it that official break. Level here, so we will get back in again. Okay. It looks like now we can officially throw our hands up in the air and wave it around like we just don't care, because okay, there it goes. So fine, the break long there on CoreWeave, good trade to that. If you're long, wow, 113. Like this didn't happen yesterday, but that's okay. Nice break long there on CoreWeave. That's going to be an early L on that name, but again, like we've changed, right? We're not going too hard, too fast right now. Nasdaq huge right now. What a move off VWAP. Wow,
this is
29 to 30,000
we're spiking like crazy
right now. I don't know if there's news on anything right here, but this is really starting to move higher. Yeah, it's probably not a dare. This is just like
look at that
NVIDIA PPI number.
What was it? Whatever. We had that over under on NVIDIA all-time highs. That's making another percent to the upside here. That's what I see that's looking strong. I mean, SpaceX, I'm sorry to tell you, that's doing absolutely nothing. IBIT's pressing, so that's starting to press through the high. But I have to remind myself, okay, even if it breaks that top, you wrote down 36.25. So I have to wait. If we take out the high, I got to wait for it to get a little bit higher. Don't really see that breaking out. Like, what is so incredibly strong here?
I don't know. I tried to short the NASDAQ right now.
I was just looking at Palantir because someone mentioned it, but the NASDAQ's to 30,000. Palantir's pulling back. Google would be an obvious name to think, okay, maybe they're breaking out. It's not. Alphabet's not breaking out either. So, again, SpaceX, it's still not doing anything on SpaceX. It's starting to do that whole VWAP reclaim story. If it can do that, it could be a long into the 150. And I'm not chasing IREN.
Oh, is that still going?
Yeah, IREN's at 47 and still going.
Wow,
it hasn't done any pullback. There's a chance for a little VWAP retrace play, but I wanted a dip buy in IREN, and we're not getting a dip. We're not getting the dip buy there. AMD, there you go. Everyone in the chat yelling. See, we don't look at AMD enough. There's your that's a parabolic move to the upside on AMD. So it looks like that NVIDIA is showing strength. I even checked DRAM to see if it had that 55.5 breakout. Not there yet. So that's a long-standing, it's yesterday's tops, but look at DRAM. This has a really good shot for a big breakout here today, but it's not even close. Market blast to a key level, and this is actually lagging a little bit. You'd think it would already be there.
Yeah, no, many names starting to go back up to the upside right now. I mean, yeah, like
Go figure SpaceX wouldn't move.
AMD, SpaceX, yeah, SpaceX went to 143 and change right there. Okay, so we just, I mean, a new position started right now just to see if there is a little bit of a possibility for a pullback here on, I thought I must not be saving this because I want to have a 5-minute chart or even longer down here. Oh, now I got to fix, something happened. Okay, I'll get
Someone was asking about time frames.
I'll fix it
I
that
said,
later.
you use one, I use three.
This is a 1. This one, I don't know what the hell happened here. Oh, there it is. Fixed. Now, okay, so 5-minute chart, huge candle up right there on the NASDAQ. So let's see if there's a little bit of weakness that could possibly come into the space now. And I don't know, man, NASDAQ up 0.5. Huge move on a pretty much inline PPI run there. We've already lost on the day a little bit here as CoreWeave had that huge move. Like, wow, up another 7%. Yesterday we were long 106s. And that was right there. Like, we could have basically taken the exact same trade there today and just been in the money now $10. But CoreWeave, like, wow, are you getting excited or what right now for CoreWeave? Maybe it's time to go look at some small cappers. FGI is halted, so we can have a look at that. Yeah, Nebius also, but it's just really CoreWeave. It's just making me think to short this CoreWeave. Like, that is an absolute crazy move. Up 20% today is CoreWeave. 20% short float, up another 7%, adding to the 10+% yesterday. So CoreWeave just absolutely on one right now, as is the NASDAQ coming through again. So yeah, man, SPY's testing highs, NASDAQ testing highs. This looks like the turnaround may not be here today because it's led by a lot of good stocks, man. Like NVIDIA was going to the, okay, now it's pulled back. AMD had a nice move higher. Maybe we buy the dips now on a stock like NVIDIA because it's shown us that it wants to go higher. Maybe a pullback in here to 224 or so.
Yeah, well, NVIDIA is so strong. I don't know. That's not the one I want to fade. I'm still gonna take another shot at Bitcoin, but it just broke out that high. You got to be able to jump out. It feels like when SpaceX made that move in the morning, where even if you liked it, I'll talk about yesterday. Today's doing nothing. Even if you liked it, you just had to get out of Dodge and look for another chance. And now you're trying to hold view up on SpaceX. Jeez, IREN, man.
It's still going good.
Oh yeah, you own this one.
Yeah,
I don't own the IREN. It's not even trying to pull back. Like, it's almost like squeeze levels up in here. I might go to Plan D. Plan D was if we're rallying and Virgin Galactic tries to go, then it should be a fade. Oh, Adam James abroad, thank you for the super chat. Those were halted and we didn't get to those. Sorry, I'm looking for something that's at one of my setup levels, and none of the longs are because we've just blasted so far. But XHG is halted with a tap lower, 723, but it's indicating a $7, now 673 open. It's actually indicating a lower open on XHG. So that's that Chinese ADR that was absolutely blasting earlier, got as high as $18, now starting to come back. But thanks for the super chat, Adam James. You can always ask us what the tap is. It's actually going lower. Now 650, uh-oh.
Okay,
yeah,
we're trying to, okay, here we go, making some money back right now as there comes, there goes the futures to the downside. So we've got this one, guys. We've got it pretty good now. Let's just wait to see, a little bounce there. Good thing we covered a little bit there in the mid 80s, but we'll put another bid there as well. We had the short, and it started to print. Like, we have no outs lower than or above where we're in. So those were good outs there. And we actually got 81 was our best out. We got a 94 or 93, a mid 80, 84, then an 81 as we come right back to flat on that. I thought potentially we were giving it up there, but then it just got bought right back. So good out. They only took out a quarter of that trade. Too bad that didn't continue to go lower. Maybe it does. And I was just looking like, do we actually have any numbers today? No, we do not. We have EI, natural gas.
Unless you're in a natural gas.
Yeah, which we're not really, I guess.
No one cares.
EIA, yeah, no one cares about the gas number, but that's 10:30, so we can look at Boyle and stuff like that. I know Neil's been talking.
I care about it. You care about it like for
little bits.
If it just does one break and move, and it's like a binary trade. Sometimes it's there, but
yeah, maybe there. But so we're just gonna wait to see if there is a little bit of a pullback now. I still am thinking about shorting that CoreWeave, but that hasn't been the right call so far. I do think DraftKings, and I talked about buying this at $21 there when they had their earnings. Thought that it was a good little opportunity to do that, or I think it was 21 was the ultimate price. But so that would be really cherry picking saying 21. But even if you got 22 or 23 or something, the idea is to hold it until it breaks back down below 20, because I love stocks with first mover advantage. We know that Burry, and we talk about him and his positions and they're back and forth and yada yada. But he likes the names there, Flutter and DraftKings. So nothing wrong with hopping on the back of a billionaire. But actually, I don't think he's worth that much. I think it's a couple $100 million. But yeah, we just had a dip down again on the TQ, so we're going to continue to watch that one. I'm bidding 75.79s right there, and so there it is. We get that fill, and the next one's going to be in the 60s, and then we'll see from there how low can we go exactly here on the TQs. After a nice little run so far this morning, we're going to go short right now and see where this takes us on the market. CoreWeave 117, absolutely unbelievable stock today.
Those runners, we haven't looked at NBIS yet, but those runners have been.
No, NBIS is not. Well, I did call it up. It's not the same as CoreWeave, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? I
It's like
guess
3%.
NBIS did too much work yesterday
maybe.
to be able to go today. Well, the over/under at VWAP ends up under on SpaceX, so I end up short. It's going to be an easy out at 145 because the VWAP wicks are all at $145, which kind of gives you the even dollar as the average. I wanted to get a price at the $0.50, but had to sneak in there at the quarter. So I'm offering again in the 70s so I can get a 50 price if we can. You mentioned NBIS isn't going. Sorry, oh, now it is. Never mind.
Is it now?
I was
Still only 4%.
curious because if it was relatively weak, then maybe that could have been a short up here. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's up 4%, and that's absolutely blasting. So if SpaceX breaks through 143, the target would be between 40, like it's just 41 area in here that I think there's a little bit of room to. So SpaceX, we'll look to see if that can get lower. IREN, still going higher. Come on, IREN. IREN, I hate you. I mean, if you're long this, congratulations, but I just feel like if it comes back into VWAP, it's probably going to do some crazy hammer candle down and just like run us over, but we'll see. IREN still, it's now doing a pullback for the first time. It's really just can VWAP hold, and that's about it. Adam James abroad.
Yeah, he's abroad again.
Sean, you should consider talking about SpaceX today.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 15 minutes. I don't have an execution on SpaceX. I wish I did, and then I wouldn't be so distracted. We did get, with the futures and everything, we did get out, as talking with Joe here, I hear out, because I know he's trading the same as me. So, we just got short there on TQs and blasting higher. So taking a little bit of a profit, then the higher highs come in, and there it goes. It looks like the Nasdaq's going to be up huge right now today. So, again, I still think that CoreWeave is, I don't know, I like the short float on it, but, I was really surprised at this move here today, up now 9%. And we just saw Nebius up 4%. So CoreWeave really going, but the shorts have been wrong, that's for sure, early today. I mean, maybe it's like waiting for some of these names to come in, especially after a number like that today. This is why, Adam James. I mean, like I told you, man, SpaceX has been an extremely profitable name for the show, but for today, I think you just got to wait for a 145 break now if you're going to do anything on this. I just don't, it doesn't look exciting enough to me to do anything right now, but doesn't mean that it's not gonna go. I think we got to wait for that 141 or 150 break on SpaceX. So, but yeah, that's what's going on there. Still waiting, man. Still waiting to see what CoreWeave wants to do up here. I still think this is a good short, but haven't put it on yet on the high side. That's 117 there. Future's still going mad as well.
Man, this is SMCI.
SpaceX. Oh, another one. Yeah,
that's
Ozan?
Yeah, it's Ozan again
Appreciate
with the
you,
same comment. And someone in the chat's like, "Oh, why aren't you guys liking any longs?" Unfortunately for me, I just don't want to. I don't want to chase SMCI or IREN. Both those I had as long, but they were more. Like this one was dipping to 37. The VWAP for Trace, there was one look, and that's right when we're getting into SpaceX. So that kind of is what it is. And then IREN, I'm telling you, like that Microsoft story, they're actually blasting on even more strength up here, and that hasn't given you any kind of a pullback. Like it's tempting to short a 48 on IREN just given how far it's gone. And when I look at it, it's almost at a pretty significant level in here, the $49 for IREN. And IBIT, I'm still going to be bearish on IREN. It can try to go all at once, but the fact that it took out the pre-market top there just means I'm waiting for another price to short Bitcoin. So I'm going to sort of stick with that thesis until it proves otherwise. It's just, that stock's, it's not a stock, but it keeps on putting in lower highs over and over and over again.
Yeah. We're finally in. I mean, now we're 30 cents in the money. Let's wait to see what winds up happening with CoreWeave now. I got back into it against that high. Finally, we've given ourselves a little bit of room now with something that makes sense here with a high. So we're not like actually just trying to fade it all day here. We're just going to try to wait for it to give us some sort of a top and then potentially a pullback down here. We're going to be in the money now, 50 cents. I'm trying to take a little bit at 115 if we're lucky enough to get a 115 flat. But other than that, we're going to wait to see if that top winds up breaking. Just right now, a third of a unit. So pretty small here on CoreWeave, but we did lose on the way back up. We never had one full unit, but we did average into it. So we probably had about 3/4 of one. So would like this name to fall back a couple bucks to make some money back there. But, we're at the mercy of the market anyways. So DFSC, this one's just halted again. So this is a big runner today, Adair. I don't know if we've covered. Well, I know we didn't. DFSC. So $1.40, $1.50, up to $3 right now. Looking like it's going to try to test some of these past areas. What is DFSC? This is Defect Technologies. DefSec?
DefSec, yeah.
DefSec Technologies. 435 and change right there. This looks like there's something going on there. Ondis reporting. I mean, this is
I have them reporting earnings.
His defense name, I guess. That's what I was thinking. I don't know.
They lost 92 cents instead of $2.67. Okay. And their sales went from 1 million to 1.9 million. So they almost doubled their sales.
Good.
I mean, obviously 1 million to 2 million. Is that what I said? Yeah, 1 million to 2 million tells you about the size of the company. But I mean, it's still sizable. And that's the second company, like a small capper, where we're actually talking about earnings as the catalyst. So congratulations to
Eli Lilly made all-time highs and then turned around again. WStream, yeah, get those freaking likes up, everybody. Like, here, I'm going to show it to you guys. We have probably 8,000 or 9,000 watching. I mean, I know the market's a little slow today, but we've been actively trading over here. There it is, 727. I like that. 9,000 of you watching. So let's get that going. We'll refresh that and see if we've hit the like button. Remember, I told you it's roughly a 50% chance of your next trade being a winner if you do hit the like button. So do that right now.
Odds.
And we will. Yeah, I mean, it's better odds than most. So we will check that out coming very, very soon to a trade near you. This is Trader TV Live. Please hit the like and the subscribe. And thank you for that super chat. And we really appreciate all of that coming through. Cerebras, wow. Okay, so there goes Cerebras to the upside, man. Absolutely. I don't want to say mooning here, but this is a nice one. It's not like a Warren moon, like this is not getting into the Hall of Fame or anything, but Cerebras, nice move higher right there today off of a report that, wasn't the end of the world. I didn't like it because of the margins. We sort of talked about that. And then the miss on the revenue side as well. But it looks like they're rewarding it a little bit today off of 215 right there. So we did wind up getting that 15 fill there. So we do wind up taking $1 on, and I only got it at 10%. So we'll see if there is a downside play coming through here for CoreWeave. It looks like, again, it may want to bounce off. Okay, I'm going to take out something there because it's so I take out a little bit there on the flush. I'm still waiting for 114.25s. Get a little bit more out here near that 25 period moving average. But here it comes back in. I'm going to put something actually right now just because I want to, I want to make a little bit back. We did lose on Cerebras there, right? And we lost a little bit on the TQs. But if CoreWeave can come into on CoreWeave, if this can come into 114.50, I want to take that. So that's what I'm doing right now, waiting for that to kind of come through, and then 114 low, and then we'll see if it can get back to life a little bit here to the downside. But CoreWeave right now looks pretty strong again, not even really taking out that 115 area. So let's be careful with this one.
Man, the market's still 1% to the upside. For those watching Intel, it just hit 106 and had a huge pullback. It just pulled back $2 in 2 seconds. I just looked up and saw it. SpaceX is holding underneath VWAP pretty clearly, but you know what? This cat plays both ways. See this 145? That's turning into a wall at 145. This one, if it breaks 45 without breaking the lows along. So if we don't break the LOD and it breaks 145, it's a reversal into the long on SpaceX. And this is I'm just reminded of what happened yesterday. Where like early the short hit the low, didn't break the low, and then when it broke out, SpaceX then went $1 bajillion. 17.
I think it was a
and
bajillion.
reversal.
I
I mean, a bajillion sounds better than
market
17.
Cap went bajillion.
But what the heck just happened to Intel? This was cruising a second ago.
Let's go Intel.
And yeah, 106, now back into 104. So there is a bit of a reversal happening for sure. I'm going to double check this SMCI because that's at $40. If this topping tails 40 on SMCI, this could be a trend break. But I just heard that we're going to Adara. Looks like we have an update.
SanDisk in focus. SNDK, I mentioned, I actually posted about this in X at DTV Research as well, that they were having their investor day today. This is the first comment that I'm seeing from this investor day, which began at 9 a.m. They're committed to mid to high teens volume growth. So again, keep an eye on SNDK saying some positive stuff here during their investor day. This name up roughly 4% on the day. If I see any more comments from SNDK and investor day, I will keep you all posted.
Gracias. Yeah, so IREN, by the way, is
49.
just running. Yeah, 12 now. Percent up for IREN as that running. Again, the deal with Microsoft is already there. It's just,
they just
meeting some of the
fulfilled it,
performance
that's all,
obligations and whatnot. So yeah, that's going to be a good one. And whenever you can make a deal with the big dogs, you're going to start going higher. That's what I remember. I said that about Cerebras and all these kind of things. Like, and there was another name today that we covered earlier. Oh, it was Ondis. We can actually look at Ondis maybe. That was another one of those names where I thought, like, okay, if there's a deal they can announce, with the wireless networking and all that kind of stuff, drones, maybe the U.S. government, other governments, that Ondis could possibly go huge because Ondis has the short float of 40%. So today, Ondis really isn't doing anything. I mean, they did have the report this morning, and it just hasn't really done too much from those levels there, but it did dip down into 9 and is trying to bounce around just a little bit over there. So Neil's in SpaceX short. I'm in CoreWeave short. And this has been a horrible trade early, but now it's just bouncing off 15. So all I'm doing is now just buying. Like, I'm trying to wait for lower, but now 115.50, that's your 25 period moving average. This doesn't really look like it wants to go down. The intraday record high today though for the S&P 500. So yeah, like, been loving, putting some spare cash into the S&P as that just keeps on working higher. I'm not buying the NASDAQ, I'm buying the S&P 500. I think we talked about that. This is my single largest holding. And I just like the diversification of all 500 stocks. Low management fee, gets you in the game. You can sleep better at night. The worst case scenario is you're going to wake up and maybe be down 2%, like, in the S&P 500 would be kind of dramatic. So, it just gives you that little bit of a cushion into the portfolio because the portfolio was still surrounded by all Mag 7 names, but the S&P gives you a little.
It's still going to be heavily tech, but you just get way better.
Yeah, I mean, it's way heavily tech, obviously.
I just realized when you were talking about CrowdStrike and PanW, it reminded me of something. I'm 50-50 on both of them, and I always look at individual names as part of my portfolio, but when I add them up, that actually ends up a bigger. I own more those two names than I own in Apple, which has gotten a little out of hand in my opinion. But I don't know which one I like better, and I just can't make a decision on which one I like better between the two. Tam Panda, thank you for the super chat. MU SanDisk, that many green candles in 5 minutes. Ooh, 42 is gonna hold. Guaranteed to have a second leg after the first pullback. Will be waiting. All right, we just closed the gap into this buy zone. And I just stared it down. That's something that's been happening to me on P-Parade. Does that happen to you?
Which?
All the time I'll be entering orders, and the drop-down thing
doesn't
it pops up, and then it just drops down in front of my level too. No, like I'll do something, like I'll hit an order, and then it'll just come back in. So anyways, we bounced off the 142. So I didn't have a trailing stop in, so I probably should have been a little bit closer to the quarters, but I just took it out at 142.42, I think. So VWAP to there on SpaceX. A lot of times I'll go VWAP to the low of the day, so the better thing is instead of only playing for like the buck and change, just extend it into this zone here on SpaceX. But I am also looking for a reload into IBIT. I don't know, like it just took out the top. I can now look at something a little bit more, lower high, instead of just short it as it's breaking down and try to hold it through the lows. This is more of a nuanced trade where I can try to play it off the highs to like a tighter stop for sure. And the Lindenmeyer said 141.41.
Oh, 141 Lindenmeyer is all about.
Lindenmeyer likes Lindenmeyer, the last time you set a level on SpaceX, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was 111.11.
It was. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure 111 was a low that day. So I would love to know, is that a Fibonacci thing, or just 41.41 could just sound cool? If it does, let me know. Because the methodology on that day was interesting because it seemed random. Everyone was looking for 110, and you were looking for 111.11, and I think it bounced off 111.
Yeah, that was a good one there. Yeah, 141, I mean, the same level that I wrote down, so the 41.41, probably just something interesting to look at there. But there it goes, man. Finally, let's go, man. We'll see. I get money, but we still need to get a little bit more on that one. As we have a chicken dinner winner right now on CoreWeave, as that is now $1.50 in the money, looking for lower. We just got a 114.25 fill, so that was pretty good. Now we can see if CoreWeave finally wants to give it up a little bit. So, made a little bit of money back here on CRWV, which has been nice. So we've been happy to have had that level there. And did we just miss that SpaceX long? Is that going to happen to me again today, where we weren't even looking at it yesterday, but today we say watch out for a dip into 141, and the low of the day right now for SpaceX is 141.80 or something like that. So yeah, it looks like SPCX still has room to go. I didn't step in there and buy. Yeah, 141.80. So it's interesting to call that level when we're up here at 147 or even earlier 148. Then that bounce off 141, but it just means, as I said before, happy to do that. To me, it means we're reading the board right. So I definitely like that level there on SpaceX, and shout out to you exactly as well, Lyndon Maya. We do have a dip down. Sounds like some Bill Burr action over there. Walmart coming into 115 again. That's a good level. I mean, we bounced off there a couple times now today, so watch out for Walmart being down 0.5%. As we've seen this trade before, right? I mean, when the Nasdaq gets cooking and some of these names are up huge, feel like people are sell off some Walmart to maybe buy some of the other tech names. This is in the Nasdaq 100, but to buy the more pure plays, and they sell off Walmart. So really like that stock. Obviously, we think that's a good long-term hold. I'm not in it. But I'm in Target, which I think is better, and I have Costco from forever. But yeah, Walmart giving some looks here at 115 today, just coming right back into those levels from yesterday. So I think 115 is a possible decent hold. All right, IREC, that's not doing anything. DIT is not doing anything. Oh, here, this is Pershing Square, PSQH, I believe. So I don't know if that's halted. That might not be the right. No, that's not Pershing Square.
No, it's not.
DFSC.
I think
this was another one that had halted up, halted down. So we wait to see if that one's going to open back up. That's 10 minutes. So this is defense security or whatever that had a way better earnings per share, only down 91 versus down 250 or something like that. So DFSC trying to do its best right now. Okay, $2 right now. Holla at $2 for CoreWeave. So again, my dumb self got involved too early again, and we just had to let it settle. There goes Netflix. So shout out to Bill Ackman. And again, we talk about the market being rigged and everything like that. And here's just another example where a billionaire can buy shares all the way down here, then just announce that he's in it and get a 4% bump higher there. So just be careful. And of course, there's rules about what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do. But there it goes, Netflix to the upside there on Bill Ackman and Pershing Square Love. So nice move there. 113.75 incoming. That's where my next bid is. And there it is. We get it right there. So now we're $2 in clean now on CoreWeave. So SpaceX downside, you're short IBIT as well. We're short CoreWeave right now.
Yeah, I jumped back in. I said, look, IBIT, as long as it held that high, we jump back into it. DRAM's on my mind, so that's why I have it up. But as short here, going to give it to the high just like we did last time and just look for the retracement back into the low. SpaceX just broke the low. What is happening now, Adara, besides this market up 1%?
Take a long.
Well, I think we have to start by talking about that market upside, Neil, because here's the S&P 500. This is going on its third pretty strong 15-minute candle here to start off the session. Here is the NASDAQ. NASDAQ looking nearly identical here to the SPY. We'll keep an eye on USO, though we haven't heard too much on oil today. Oil actually pushing lower. So this is how things used to be at the start of the conflict going back to March 2026. You had weakness in oil, strength in the market. That's certainly what we're seeing right now. But things might not be all so rosy. Even after this PPI print, we get some comments. And PPI, by the way, mostly came in cooler than expected. One print a little bit hotter than expected. So 3 or 4 cooler. Fed's Hammock saying that the Fed needs to raise rates right now. She actually voted, was one of 3 Fed members to vote for a rate hike at the last meeting. So this is significant. She's staying pretty hawkish. She also said that inflation amidst recent shocks continue to rise and that too much growth could put further pressure on prices. So she's saying this needs to happen now. Either way here, what's happening now is Cerebras is trying to bounce off of the lows here. CBRS, one of many earnings day one plays in focus here is Cisco. Cisco's still pretty weak. We're actually still below our pre-market lows here. You've got Cisco, you've got ONDS was in focus here, BLSH. So tons of earnings day one plays. BLSH by far looking the strongest here. So bullish, actually making a bullish move on earnings. Netflix in focus here, as Sean mentioned, as we mentioned a couple times now. Bill Ackman's Pershing Square returning to invest in Netflix, 3.15 million shares worth after losing on Netflix in 2022. And SNDK in focus and Investor Day. We had a super chat here mentioning SanDisk and Micron. SanDisk at least partially buoyed here by that Investor Day, which began at 9 p.m. CEO of the company said that the company is committed to their mid to high teens volume growth going forward. Not clear what time frame that is, but either way, nice comments from CEO David Goekler. Back to you.
Just before we do that quickly, we're into SpaceX, and there it is, man, 141.50. We did buy that dip there just because it was at a 50 level. I'm still waiting. I was actually waiting at 141.25 for more shares, but when that came in, I said, let's just take a small piece there. We'll take it. Now it's running to the upside, so it's 80, 90 cents in the money right now. It did touch 50, but then fell back off of that, so let's wait to see if that does come through for us at some point there on SpaceX. And by the way, CoreWeave's still $2.14 now in the money. So we're doing pretty good right here, sitting on about $3. But traders, here's an offer that even your broker isn't giving you. Markets have been extremely active lately. And for traders, this kind of environment creates opportunity. Big moves means more setups, of course, and more momentum. But to really take advantage of these conditions, you need two things: discipline and, of course, access to capital. And that's where Trade the Pool comes in. Instead of being limited by the size of your own account, traders can access firm capital and focus on executing their strategy and managing risk. No more fear of blowing up your own personal account. No more moving your stop loss too early because you're worried about your own savings. This is what we call limited risk trading. So if you want to take advantage of the volatility in today's markets without risking your own capital, please head over immédiatement to tradethepool.com. Even speaking French in there right now as I get ready for my bid for Prime Minister of Trader TV Live. Obviously, I can never be Prime Minister of Canada because I am born in Honduras.
It's Canada, man. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Up in here, we could change them rules right quick.
Yeah.
Nah, we're not going to. And you don't need to speak French anymore, I don't think. The last leadership debates might have proved that. We're breaking back into the highs here, everybody. NASDAQ is looking really good. You've got NVIDIA blasting. I said DRAM was going to be on the mind. It's got to hold on the dip. The dip needs to hold 55.5. Why? Because that is this prior high in here. So if this dip holds 55.5, this looks like a good continuation play. Now, under the hood, obviously, you're going to be looking at Micron, SanDisk, the entire group. Micron's also in the midst of that same pullback. SNDK was weaker yesterday.
SpaceX.
Today, it's actually stronger.
Oh, boy.
So this one's looking pretty good as well. So as long as we hold the bull flag, want to see this close above 55.50 before you get in. As I said, I'm back into IBIT, and I don't think it's going to be a reload on SpaceX. Because that thing about that 45 zone, like, see that wall? If it breaks 45, that just seems like a nice V-shape potential recovery to be able to retest the 145. It's 150 level, I should say. Roland, shout out to you. Good morning. QMCL. So immediately, anytime you throw up one, quantum, what is this? Quantum, what is it? Let's get the actual company. Quantum Corporation. If you've never looked at it, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this is not one that I've tracked or looked at today, but the chart speaks for itself, I believe. I don't know if there's a story here, but I will look it up for you. It looks like a clean breakout on the daily. Did you say there's no...
I haven't found a story yet, but I looked this up because I was pretty sure they didn't do quantum. They don't do quantum. They do data storage. The name is incredibly misleading. And they don't have a story either.
Sorry.
That story, I guess this is earnings day 2 for them because they posted on Monday night, so Tuesday. This is earnings day 3 for them here. Quantum Corp, which again, not a quantum company, guys, not a quantum company. The one quantum company that is earnings day 1 is Inflection.
I also just looked at the volume on this move. Like, I just made me screw face for a second because like this is almost like a nothing volume day for that extra 7%. So like it's an earnings move, so that's fine. But not a huge fan of that one on such low volume for this breakout. And I don't know the story at all. If they're not a quantum company, that seems fugazi. Lynn, you like the green? Appreciate it. Thank you. I only own like 2 green things. So
Yeah, green looks good, man. Hopefully we can keep our nets that way, and that's a good
Yes,
one.
sir.
Appreciate you, Joe. When I came in today, I went through our wrestling doors over here, the curtain, and Adair goes, are you ready for some dollar clubs today? Well, we're in 5 of them right now. So CrowdStrike right now with 3 1/4 back in right now on CoreWeave. Sorry, not CrowdStrike. CoreWeave right now hitting these lows into 112. Guys, we're short at 116 right now. After getting, we got hit early. We talked about that. We battled back. And then now SpaceX as well. We just took $1.50 on that one. Actually, almost $2. It was about $1.75. As we get right into our 25-period moving average, we got out basically a quarter, which means we have left 1/4 of this trade on SpaceX, looking for a little bit lower rate there. Here, we can, I'm going to pop this and see what winds up happening here.
Off.
Yeah, we can watch, let's, hold on a second. Let's just watch this together here. So, why is it always 4? Let's see what happens here. I have no idea. She's I can tell normally which one she is here. Oh, yeah, okay, I found her. There it is. So there's the break. Let's see what winds up happening. Oh, that was not a good shot. But there it is, early goal there for G Unit right there. So nice little steal there. It looks like, oh, wow. Joe, check this read. Boom, right there. Oh, you're short-handed? Watch this pick. Bang, there it is right there. Nice move. Catch her if you can. Right there. I got to talk to you about this. But there it is, little bit. I guess she tried to go 5-hole there. Did someone try to throw their stick at her? What's going on with that one?
What the heck was that?
Right
or
there,
she lost it lunging.
Yeah, who knows, man.
I don't know.
But there it is.
That looks kind of sus.
The non-celebratory. She's like Barry Sanders over there, man. Gets the touchdown and just says, "Here you go, Mr. Referee."
I love that about her.
Right there. So yeah, shout out to that one. In case you don't know, I am a big, basically, what do they call it when it's daddy's girl? Girl dad?
Girl dad.
Yeah, something like that. Big time. But also, I am planning on going to the range with my son tonight. So that should be really exciting. She has volleyball. So I was like, oh man, this girl's doing everything. I got to take this guy somewhere. So we're going out to the range tonight as well. So you got to be super busy, right? Every single night something's going on. Like we won't eat again until 8 something tonight. But okay, so now CoreWeave is now $4. So not going to any clubs, as you just heard me say, but we got a nice little winner there on CoreWeave. We've got a good one. So right now, my whole net is basically this, losing on this early TQQ short. If we don't have this trade, we're flat on the day, but we are going to be red because of that TQQs. And then again, a little, ooh, that's a good one. We didn't get out, so now we only have 20% left. We only got at a 5% rate there of what we had left, but we'll wait to see here if we get a little bit more of an upside play there on SpaceX. So far, so good here today. Let's go over to Neil and tell you why you need to become a member.
Well, one of the reasons, because you'll probably find support, resistance on maybe SpaceX, all the names that are in play. You're seeing earnings names, day 1, day 2 that are out there, and you can all find it in the research note coming from Sharif. And if you hit that membership button, just subscribe, just get in there, make sure. If you're in the chat, you're also gonna be able to get this as a gift. So I wanna remind people to do that, but it's everything you need to start your day, okay? We're talking about $5 a month, 25 cents a day effectively for every trading day there is out there, technical analysis, news analysis, everything you need to start your day off correctly. So you don't have to trade blind, the work is done for you. So I wanna shout out to KC for gifting some memberships today and doing it multiple times, but I want everyone to jump in there and get it if you can. And yeah, it's a great, fantastic benefit. Yesterday, 100%, you would have found this name out there. Yeah, that'd be SMCI, blasting through $40 now. 40.
Yes.
The stock is on an absolute freakish tear up here, and there's really nothing standing in the way of SMCI. I liked it for a dip buy that never came in. Like really the only things that set up remotely at levels were IBIT and SpaceX. And to me, the SpaceX short was done when it made that turn. DRAM's coming into VWAP, so that's at least potentially setting up here. And as I said before, we're back into a little bit of IBIT. But let us know what else you guys are trading in here. Jaws says SMCI is going to do that 2023, 2024 run again. No. Nah. What it did, and then we're not split adjusted, so I actually have to look at this on a different time frame. And this is not to be like a hater or anything, but like that, what this did before when it went from $4 to 120, you don't tend to repeat that kind of a thing, if we're being real about it. So Yeah, it's coming from what, $20? So the equivalent of that is almost insanity. Like you're trying to go 30x from $20. I think that's incredibly unlikely for this, but enjoy the ride while you can. It's been beaten up enough.
Yeah, man. Like we just said, man, there it is, $5 right now on that one. That's such a getting their winner. Their CoreWeave, we just took some 111s out right there. So being real disciplined with the hold. You know, a bunch of outs in front of VWAP and one exactly at VWAP, one at the 200 P. Like the fact that we got something out at 112.50 and then it went into 111, it's like, that was a really good hold. Normally I'm trying to scalp these things back and forth and we don't have to even worry about anything like that at all. Let's double check what's going on with the Fed today because, you know, we did have that PPI and now, market get money, you know, there we go. So no rate hike right now coming in September, 2/3, 1/3, when that just yesterday was 50-50 or CPI day. Yeah, it's 50-50. And now it's changing very dramatically for the Fed rate cut, rate hike action. There will be no Fed rate hike according to this. So even if we go into December right now, it's still only showing, so it's showing 1 by the time December hits. So no, yes, maybe December 9th for currently expected. Now anything can change, of course, as we get through to, wow, what is, oh, by the way, Neil talks about super micro. Yesterday, it was on the sticky note for 35 long, and I said I liked this stock as a long candidate. We like the improved margins, and boom, shakalaka, it's on fire right now, SMCI. Neil, this was $3, then it was $4, then it was $5. After that, my friend, is $6 right now on CoreWeave. So this name has retraced it all the way back now on CRWV. So let's take another bid if we can around 10. I mean, this is where we started the debauchery, I guess, on this play because this is when we started to look short. So let's now use this level as, did I get that bid down there? No, I did not. So we'll just punch there. I'll cancel my 40s. We'll punch a little bit out there. What price did I just get there? 80s. But there it goes, man. CoreWeave, maybe bouncing off this 10. So just to discuss how many shares I have, then I'll throw it back. We're actually now, womp. We have 10% left on CoreWeave. So hopefully it can continue to go down and we'll be able to make some back there. But we would have had a positive day if not for the TQs. So we're just going to wait to see if we can trade this name back again. Market at its highs. NASDAQ up 1%. Like, wow, was not expecting that one. That's for sure. This is the PPI number up and down. And then this is the market just got going. Every time it wants to pull back, it says no thank you right there. So hey man, we'll trade it. We're $1 in on SpaceX, we're 5 in on CoreWeave, and Neil's got IBIT short.
Yeah, and the thing is, even if IBIT breaks out, which it might again, we'll take out what will still be about like 1/3 of what we made on the SpaceX trade. But I got bad news for you. D34DN. The Robinhood Ventures, I can't tell you if there's a tap on it because we don't have it. So like RVI, which is, shoot, why can't I call it up? There it is. I'm assuming like RVI doesn't really trade much volume. If there's a second like listing for the RVII, like I don't see it. I can just show you RVI, which is not halted, which is trading right here, and I can tell you what price it's at if you're absolutely curious. If you're talking about something different, I'm assuming you mean Robinhood Ventures, which is not halted. But you can clarify if you'd like. I just don't know what else that could be whatsoever. We only have RVI, that's all.
Yeah, old friend of ours here, Daryl. Yo, what's up, Daryl?
What's up, Daryl?
Yeah, man,
What
good
up,
one
brother?
there. Sean, I joined you on the CoreWeave short. But a little late. Yeah, I was a little early. You're a little late. So if we can just combine that mentality, then you and I will be, on one there. What's up to Easy Peasy as well. But after, VWAP breakdown. So yeah, we can have a look at that quickly. I just want to keep this up because I didn't even finish reading this. At 1:30. Okay, you joined me a little bit late at 113.50. Good win with that. You covered. Okay, so you took $3. So there you go, man. Join the club, man. You come in. It's admission's free. I mean, you just gotta somehow earn it with the trades, right? So you did. So there you go, man. Three day passes for you on that one. But yeah, there's the break right there, 1350. So I think that was good. I think that was pretty patient because waiting, bang to the downside. Now I don't know. You probably picked it because of the same reasons why I was thinking about going short right there. Probably a good area to sort of get out of that. And that's what we did. So I think, again, great minds might think alike here, Daryl, and you got it. So that was a good trade. I'm still going to hold a little bit. I just got another piece out. So we have about 7.5% now left on CoreWeave. So would really appreciate it if it did come back into the downside again and take out this 110. And then we can fall back into 107. I think that's the low, 108. Like the 200 period between 108 and 109. I think we'd be really lucky to get that, okay? FGI, a name there. And then I want to look at bending spoons. But okay, there goes FGI, now finally starting to break higher again. So this name, it's going to halt at 56. So watch out here, FGI. Oh, nope, false hold. Oh, there was almost enough. No, now it will halt. There was almost enough sellers that came in there to break this. So let's see what winds up happening now. False halt into a halt. This will be interesting to see what happens now because they wanted to break it lower, but then buyers came back in on that name. So this should be real cool. Oh, wow. Instantly up $1, up $2 to $12 right now. $12.18 on the top of FGI, $12.50. Now that's just getting excited now because people are putting in their orders. $13. We'll check back on this very, very soon. But is PSQH, was I right about that?
It's not Pershing, it's something else.
It is PSQ Holdings. No, Pershing Square, yeah. PSQ Holdings. I think that might be what it is. But anyways, this name is about to halt again, it looks like, upside at 514. So PSQH, what's up, Adara?
We're going to talk about some small caps. Let's start here with FGI. FGI Industries affirming their sales guidance here and posting a Q2 earnings beat, though sales actually missing estimates. Sean was just discussing this name. It's a multi-halter. Looks like it's halted again with a just shy of $20 million market cap and a 520,000 share float. Very small float. Next up, this is going to be all small cap earnings names, by the way, guys. DFSC is in second place here. DefSec. They have strong year-over-year growth for their Q3. Earnings sales also growing year-over-year. I remember hearing Neil talk about these numbers. I'm guessing that's this name here, DFSC. $6.4 million market cap and 2.65 million share float. XE, this is not a small cap. I'm going to start with that. It's a $9.2 billion market cap. I did see someone in the chat asking about it a while ago, though, so I thought I'd go over it here because the price at $22 is a little bit more inexpensive. Missing estimates on EPS, beating estimates on sales. As I mentioned here, that $9 billion market cap is worth noting, but you do have a 16% short float for XE. This company is called X Energy. Back to you.
Ooh, look at the top of the list there. There's our stock visualizer. All you got to do is type $ in the chat like someone just liked Microsoft in there. SpaceX, Intel, IREN, everything's been looked at. XJG, defense, DFS. It's not really defense, DFSC. I guess Intel we haven't paid enough attention to. NVIDIA's in there. Robinhood made the list. Come on, Robinhood. Tell me you're back above that 96 level. And the answer to that is a resounding yes. It pressed through 100. Robinhood. The second time it breaks is a charm on Robinhood. Oh, that looks fantastic. Hold, break back above the 200 period. If it wasn't already in it, but we are. I think you can resume the uptrend. That's a good confirmation for Hood. Why is it up 5% today specifically? I wish I could tell you. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't remember seeing a story. You're up, but not up much in Bitcoin. SoFi is having a decent day. Nothing incredibly spectacular there. I always like to look at those two together when we can. And with Poets moving. I see a few other names out there, and I see people still putting that RVII in.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't call that one up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The reason people are putting RVII in, and this could be the Robinhood story, they're going public soon.
It's not
so not yet, but they have their IPO price at $25 per share for 8 million shares. That's going to be on the NYSE. They raised up to $255.5 million with the underwriter option. This is on Robinhood. Sorry to cut you off there.
For fun too, but I couldn't find a date on it. Yeah, I don't really see a date on it, and it wasn't on my. It's not my sheet. It's just the Nasdaq sheet. Like any IPO that's this week, you usually is listed in here. So that's why I'm a little surprised. Like if it's a SPAC, if it's an IPO, like I don't know why it doesn't make that list.
Yeah, their release says today. But to be fair, the original RVI IPO was really boring as well. I don't remember us even talking about it. So I suspect this to be similar.
No, it was. And again, that's talking in the RVI doesn't even do that much volume, so to speak. We have a super chat in here. I think it's a pretty good one, if that's the one that's up. We can throw it up there, Andre. I like this. Everyone has to. Paul B, there is no right answer to taking profits, trailing stop loss versus selling in increments. It just comes down to what your style is. I find like a lot of swing traders we talked to seem to have like the trailing stop notion. I like trailing stops when you're holding something through a big level. Like if you're holding it through like a double or a triple bottom on the daily and it breaks it, instead of getting out in front of that level, I think oftentimes you can try to let it break. And if it ends up breaking down, great, you can hold it for more. But if it ends up bouncing, then you trail it. If it continues through, then maybe find another spot, which would have been that 141. There is no right or wrong answer. It's simply what works for you. You know, the first step is why do I want to be into a stock and where do I want to do it, in what direction, and then where's your out, and then the take profit part. If you get the other things right, you're just sort of perfecting it more than anything else. The other things have to be right in the first place, like when to get in and where to place a stop. Ends up being, I think, a heck of a lot more important. But trailing stops can be good. Some people like to use Fibonacci's. I don't know if that's where Lindenmayer picked up the 140, 141. I joked about that. I don't know if it was actually true. But just make sure that you find something consistently works for you. Yeah, SMCI is just on one.
Yep.
There's no VWAP pullback in that. So I feel like the next trade, SpaceX doesn't want that 45 to come back up because they still think as long as the low holds on SpaceX, 145 sets up as a break. That wall that was there for the short, if it ever goes, you got to think about the long trade. But we held 55.5 on DRAM pretty big. It's kind of a heavy candle to the upside. So I'll look to maybe see if we can get the next dip that holds it a little bit more clean, as the memory names are looking strong along with the overall market. Yeah, they are looking pretty good. Nothing too crazy happening with IREN. It's kind of, I don't want to say falling asleep, but it's just diddling in the middle. There's no VWAP pullback. It's not really breaking out those highs. So it's just taking a little bit of a nap there on IREN, as we wanted the dip into the Gulf, and it just ramp jobbed. There was really no place to get into this on a pullback, really, unfortunately.
Okay, FGI, yeah. I mean, I don't know, I like holding that IREN right into here. Yeah, FGI halted again at 985, 986. Lonzo keeps tagging you in this, so I don't
BSP,
I guess you guys were talking about it in the pre-market. I don't really know.
He asked me why Bending Spoons wasn't more red on the report, and my response was, there's no like should it be, like you can have. I go, if you have opinions strongly on it, then you can think it's a continuation. But like a stock, because it reports X, doesn't mean it has to move a certain percentage. That's not really how it works. But you can just look at things like what's the expected move. Do you think it was a really bad quarter and was expected 10% move and it's only down 5? Then maybe you've got 5% worth of a trade in there. It just comes down to if that was your conviction, absolutely go for it. Lots of times we'll think a stock is.
Yeah, you have no idea.
I tend to more likely be on the side of trying to buy something if I think it's too far down, as opposed to, I think that report was so bad, I think it should go even further lower and chasing it. I find it's usually easier to wrap my head around, I liked that report, they're beating it up too much, this is a good company, because I feel there's more people that might be thinking that way. It's a little tougher, and rightfully so, to try and grab that short. And Bending Spoons is down 17% now. So a good one there. Lozo, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's a good one there. Yeah, down huge. I actually, as I looked at it, I didn't realize what it was doing. I actually like the level that Bending Spoons is at, right in and around there right now. Okay, let's see if we can do it again. We've got another trade idea on here. And just looking at what the NASDAQ has been doing here over the last little while. Again, this is the only hit on the day there for me. I've only traded 3 names again, which is pretty much right in the wheelhouse for what I'm trying to do. CoreWeave right now is, as I said to Neil before, $6, trying to break through 10. We can put a bid. Let's just put another bid down here. What am I bidding? Okay, I'm not even bidding anything, so we'll put a bid down. 10-15s or so, just to see. Try to sort my blotter here so the only thing I have left was I was still trying to short 116.50, but obviously we didn't get as many shares as we wanted. Well, we did, but we were waiting for a little higher there. So let's put another bid down that near that low side now, and then just try to watch out to see if we get that fill, and then maybe a break lower over there on CoreWeave. So that's been a big trade, obviously, as we go. There it is. Yes, sir. Yes. Now CoreWeave, big time movements now. To the downside for your friend CoreWeave right now. That's a good move. Wow, this was up 8 or 9%, man. We just put 7% back in our pockets there on CoreWeave. So that was a good one. Just never enough shares at the top and always too much there, but all good. SpaceX falling back in. Like I said, I still have 20% of this trade. I want to get longer, but more near that 141. I think we pretty much nailed that price. And let's just, continue to support that. And if it does come into 141, as we wrote down on the note today, the other name that we had on here is we have CoreWeave, SpaceX 150 or 141, and then the futures. So that was an L there. Let's go back and see if we can, turn that frown upside down and get some money back here on the TQs. I may go. Joe's been making these iced coffees, and now I'm kind of like, because I only drank half of what Randy bought. Right now.
Should make like a gigantic one.
I may go make myself an iced coffee pretty soon, coming back in there. But yeah, okay, so right now we are short the TQs. I thought maybe we were seeing a top right there. Easy to get out of. This is not going to be a big hit, but did we just get stopped out of it? Yes, we did. So right into there, like I said, just real quick stop out. We do have Nat Gas coming through, so we just got stopped out at 45 there on the TQs. So the only negative name we have just got a little redder there. I still think the Nasdaq's going to be a short at some point, but it looked like it was there. It just didn't happen. So TQs blasting to the high side, and the RSI on the TQs is quite high right now, 88. Like we haven't had this kind of an RSI play in quite a while. Right, this goes all the way back to the 7th. Back about a week here on the 15-minute chart. So we are overextended on the buy side, but that doesn't really matter if it wants to keep going higher. So that's why I tried to short it, but just did not come through with that trade. So yeah, man. You were in IBIT, but I guess nothing going on there. So IBIT out, and
Nat Gas in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, Nat Gas in 5.
Yeah, Nat Gas does have a consolidation level today at $20. So if it breaks higher, it broke lower. Never mind. So the build on Nat Gas, I was playing for, because the gap was to the upside, I was playing the break up, but it just went to the downside. So the Nat Gas just came in. Obviously, if you broke it short and guessed that way, then congratulations. I was looking for the long because that's where it went last week. So that is what it is. That's kind of disappointing. Because I feel like that trade, you should probably just set it in either. I think you should set it in either direction and just not care which way it goes and just take the break of the high or the break of the low. But I've been sort of picking one spot. And the worst part about it is I've only taken it twice, and both times it's worked. But then 4 or 5 times, I've just guessed the wrong direction. I don't even get into position. But we'll try it again next week. IBIT, every time I get topped out, I'm like, yeah, but it's not going. It's just really not extending here. I said 36.25, so every time we fail under that, I'm just going to try to get tighter entries instead of like trend breaks. Like tighter entries to the high is going to be the way to go. Like instead of giving it a wider range, just going to give it 5, 10 cents. I still don't really see, like SpaceX could be a VWAP trade. I'm still more leaning with the next one. I'd rather just take a 45 break if it gets there. And DRAM didn't give us that dip. It just continued to go higher as we speak. IREN's doing absolutely nothing as it just continues to go sideways. I feel like that's the one that got away, but I don't want to FOMO IREN in here. Like either it bounces off VWAP, or we're probably not going to end up with a trade there at all. Let's go to Adara at the desk. It's 10:30.
Yeah.
It's no segment, just an update here on SanDisk. So SNDK, I've been seeing some more comments from its investor day circulate over the last couple of minutes. One thing that I'm really seeing that I think is worth noting is, according to the company's market intelligence head, they believe the flash memory market will grow to over $300 million in 2026 and then nearly $500 billion in 2027. So they're just expecting exponential flash memory growth coming from SNDK as this event continues. Nice hold to 400 here, or 1400.
400, yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, it's okay. Nice look there.
If that goes to
1400.
1400.
Good out. Looks like we do have a good out there on, again, on CoreWeave. So 110, another out there for us. So $6 we take on that one. And we're getting lighter and lighter, as we keep on saying there, but we are. So lighter and lighter now on this name. So far, so good there, as it wants to get back. And you know, we could stop out. I was thinking about maybe 113 as the eventual end. So let's just put that in right now on CoreWeave. We've already showed, you know, what can happen if you hold onto a little bit longer. You can get that sort of breadth of a bleed down to the downside. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And when you're wrong, you want to get out, and when you're right, you want to try to hold a little bit. So 113.26 is, we're going to get out and stop out of that one right now. So we'll lock in that $2.50, right? So we had that question about trailing stops. So I'm only going to trail stop now on the last 10%. So other than that, we basically traded out all the way to the downside there. And now we'll wait to see if VWAP does wind up being the hold that we hope it is today, or if this does wind up fading back out for us on CoreWeave. So just an interesting name there today as we keep on going back and forth. SpaceX doing nothing. What else you guys want to talk about? Oh, this FGI has halted a bunch of times, but what a good level $9 maybe is on FGI. So if you're looking for something there, that's been coming through itself as well. That PSQH just opens and halts immediately. Again, gets up to 560. PSQH holdings there. Public Square, another one of a fintech play. And I don't really love fintech right now. We sort of talked about that yesterday. So this name nicely pushing higher on 31% volume, 31% move higher on 3.1 million shares. Interesting coming through for that one there. And then, yeah, there was that OBX.
Now, that looks like it's a nothing burger.
Yeah,
again, we can't sub for volume. This one might be one of those, it's dying. It's just absolutely dying here.
Now, what do we have early? We had this DFSC early.
That was the other one.
Yeah, and this hasn't really done a whole
But you know what? It's holding the low. We had this conversation last week on the small cappers. And sorry, that OBX is really a nothing burger. It is down a tremendous amount, but it's it's under VWAP, but then it's holding out the pre-market, the original pre-market high, this $2.10. As long as it holds 210, there's a chance of like that re-break of the volume weighted average price, and then bye-bye, it gets going. So this is worth a watch. I should have paid for locates already on this, because if it loses 210, I think that's a big time gap fill. And before you pay for locates at real trading, you should always see if you can just short it in the first place. We can't. But it's under VWAP for now. But the volume's good, 60 million shares on this sucker. I think it needs to lose 210 to try to fill in the rest of that gap. And we've seen that story before. So I'll be a fan of it if it can do that. But it just has to be a reasonable price. We saw, I don't remember which one it was yesterday, but it was a penny stock. I don't remember the name. It was at 80 cents. And the locates cost 16 or 17 cents per share. So you needed a 20% move to break even if you went short the stock. Suffice to say, only like a maniac would actually pay for those locates, because that just doesn't even make any sense. Did you catch that second leg on MU? SNDK, I called it out earlier, just made your week. Congratulations. I've only traded IBIT in SpaceX. Missed IREN, wanted to dip by, that never happened. SMCI wanted to dip by, that was actually further than IREN, so didn't get that one either. And it was that, and then SpaceX was on the list, and IBIT was on the list, and nothing else really set up. That's why I'm looking at a small capper like this right now on DFSC. So congratulations on Micron. It's super strong. Like the structural breakout on DRAM is legit, but it's the same breakout effectively on Micron, where you had multi-day highs. And boom, there's your consolidation. You could argue like the next stop, on the chart you'd say 1,000, and then you could also say the 50 period on the daily, which is the SMA, and that's at 966. So all of these are on a jaunt. And what's interesting about that jaunt is, for whatever reason, SNDK was the only thing selling off in the afternoon in the memory space. And where it held at the close, it's exactly where it ended up bouncing from. So once the buyers came in, they were good to go. This hasn't broken out yet. So I think a test of 14.4 makes sense. SNDK is still relatively weak when you frame it around the prior resistance, but the memory chips are very much back in play. Probably means Apple's a short.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Usually Apple's a short.
Actually, it's a good look. Let me check what Apple's doing at 305. So, okay, so Apple's just pretty high side for right now. We're just sitting on $1 in SpaceX. I haven't mentioned SpaceX in about 20 minutes, so there you go. We'll have to wait to see if it does break a little higher. We're still waiting for that short. Joe and I messaging back and forth here, and yeah, the TQQs, Joe, they do appear to be on a mission right now. And just straight up, man, like the NASDAQ up 1.4%. And I was just sort of saying, like, I was trying to buy some more indexes and stuff like that, but it's just all the way up right now. And I don't know if I want to buy highs, although buying highs hasn't been a bad story. I mean, there was that article that we talked about a little, we always talk about different things, but I don't know how long ago it was, where buying all-time highs has actually turned out to be much more profitable than actually waiting and trying to pick and choose, buying it once a month or anything like that, because often you don't get the right, you're buying into downward drafts. So over time, as long as the market keeps getting to highs, then obviously every time you bought was a good decision.
It means you're buying the trend.
It's just
by default, you're buying the trend.
You're just buying a strong market, and if it doesn't break highs, then you don't average down. So it's like you're staying away from getting into a lot of trouble. But anyways, like we keep saying, to each their own, not financial advice, just something that happens. I just can't believe SMCI yesterday. We had 35 long, and we really love that stock. And then today it's just moonshot again, up 11% SMCI. Yeah, Intel's the last name that in my own account that I actually bought. We bought some 98s. We did a live on the show. And I like Intel. I thought that the situational awareness there was beat up. I do listen to Kramer, and he loves some Intel. I thought that, and again, I hadn't bought this. I bought this for the first time sub $20, so it was a great run higher, and we did exit out of some of it. So we just kind of put a little bit of money back to work there. We sold some Palantir at like just under that 160 mark. Probably got to get back in and sell a little bit more of that at some point if it gets back to that 175 level. I don't even know what Palantir is doing today, but this is a nice name. I like the U.S. side of it. I like the fact that the U.S. is invested in it. I am worried that once they exit that stake, that would signal sell, but who knows? We can get out of that as well when that winds up happening. It may not happen. And then as there's more GPUs, there needs to be more CPUs. So I like Intel, and dude, get yourself a Dell and get yourself an Intel chip inside of that. So right now it's been a nice move higher there for Intel, up 5%. Again, really like that stock, especially for a longer term. And it's not the same as NVIDIA. It's completely playing in a different playground a little bit there. I mean, same playground, but different section. Cerebras now. I was saying that if this thing, was it Cerebras? Or something we were talking about that is if it broke the lows in the pre-market, then we were going to get crushed. Yeah, it was. It was this 214. So we didn't even come close to that. Instead, it went the other way.
That's what Cisco did.
So yeah, so that's, did Cisco break the lows?
No, Cisco just held the lows.
Yeah, I really love Cisco. That was another name that maybe we could have bought on weakness. But anyways, right in there, yeah, Cerebras, good level there, 222. Look, it broke it, ripped up about $14, then came right back in, right into, again, period highs there from the open. So yeah, oops, that's the wrong line, but right into there for Cerebras, came right back in there and bought those bottom dips. So yeah, this name looks to be real strong right now. I'm still looking at the TQs, man, thinking about a short at some point here. What's up, Adara?
This market strength is certainly, I would say, market-wide. It's definitely not sector-specific. That being said, some sectors do stand out as particularly strong. Tech services looking really good here. Finance looking great. Producer manufacturing kind of mixed, but you do have leadership in the two largest names in the sector to the upside. That would be LRCX and AMAT, the latter of which is reporting after the bell today. Consumer non-durables looking good. Utilities strong. Transportation strong with the exception of Uber. Consumer durables looking good here. Consumer services strong. Commercial services strong. Health tech strong. Retail trade relatively flat. I already mentioned tech services, but I want to get back to this for a second because you've got AppLovin sharply to the upside after struggling following their earnings report and then a downgrade from BAC earlier this week. You've got Oracle up about 3%, Netflix up 4%. This is a new Bill Ackman play, so that announcement sending NFLX streaming to the upside. Electronic tech is generally strong, but there are some areas of weakness. So for strength, you've got Intel up about 5%. Apparently, the company is viewed as being viewed as trying to pivot towards memory. You've got SanDisk to the upside. Speaking of memory, WDC, Seagate, Micron, all these memory names quite strong. AMD also strong up 2.5%. That being said, some of these defense names are a bit weaker in this sector. You've got RTX to the downside. GE, not directly a defense name, but in the aerospace sector, they're also going to be red. And Cisco down 7.5% on earnings day one. Back to you.
I actually like GE Aerospace as a defense because I think oftentimes some stocks don't get enough benefit for the defense side. But I do, and I like the chart too. I'm a big fan of G Aerospace. But anyways, just very quickly, I wasn't too early on DFSC. I said VWAP, and I didn't wait for VWAP, and I was gonna jump in here and give it to the prior wick, and then I just punched out. So I'm like, no, why am I trying to short it there to give it to there? VWAP is sitting again even higher. And I even said this could be a breakout. So let's wait for it to actually challenge that volume weighted average price. That's going to matter, I think, a heck of a lot more. NASDAQ's still not really, it's not really cooling down for any kind of a curl. And I'm looking up, IBIT's not really giving you too much of a trade. IREN, however, well, it's gotten to VWAP. It doesn't look very good at the volume weighted average price, but it's there. So finally, this is retraced into VWAP. If we can get a little trend break action off of this volume weighted average price, maybe it even happens under, it could base out and not break this little downtrend and then hold lower and then break back up. But that's going to be the next thing on the radar for myself. Grunfeld's telling us we should be looking at Tesla. Tesla's up 2 points today. Thank you, Grunfeld. Why is Tesla up today? I don't know. I can tell you that all it's doing is retracing yesterday's move. So 336, that looks like a good spot for potential breakout. Don't really have much of a catalyst going here on Tesla. Maybe it's like sell SpaceX, buy Tesla.
I did see one thing. It's very minor. The Swedish industrial group apparently abandoning their action against Tesla as of August 19th. So the story isn't even effective today, but that's the only thing I'm seeing. It was pretty minor.
Okay. I mean, it's not a bad technical break either, but we prefer things with catalysts. It always makes me, when you get to a resistance level and there's not really a specific reason as to why it's going up, I tend to want to think fade. But then if you think too much counter trend, you can talk yourself into stuff. So just going to go back to IREN at this volume weighted average price, because at least if it can break that trend, which it's not doing, then it would be buying something in a bit of an uptrend, up 8%. Is this one? It was much higher. Actually, was double digits to the upside, but now it's really pulling back in. It's got a whole VWAP. I don't just want to sit there as it's a falling knife. You want to see it start to regain to the upside, break that trend line, go long, put the stop underneath the prior bar, and then we can try to get back into that HOD, everybody. So 15 minutes to go. I don't really see anything. Like on the Halt scanner, it's just that pathetic OBX stock again, which isn't doing any volume whatsoever. Right. But that stock might go to, I don't know, this Obsidian thing, there's probably a really bad story to go along with this, because like there isn't a bid and it just sort of insta-halts every single time it opens up and to the downside.
I'm going to trade the TQ short through 77.40. Well, actually, we could probably get it right now. It's broken the 25 period moving average for the first time. So I think it's going to be a decent look right there for the futures as a potential short play right now. So we're going to look at that. If it does break, we're going to try to get that short. So look, I mean, I'm in a quarter of a unit now on SpaceX. We like that 141. So that's the price that we have. We'll see if it can hold it or not there on SpaceX. And the hold level is 140 for me. So, you know, we can wait, see if it wants to work out for us there on SpaceX. And I'm going to buy some 140.25s or so, but got to give that a little bit of a second to see if it comes out. All right, we're into the queues now. So I just want to wait. Again, you know, market trying to pull back. Could we retest VWAP here above 30,000 now on the NASDAQ? We finally broke, and I actually got a little lazy there. We should have identified that it's because I put the order in and then it just kept on coming back up. So we probably should be short here around 47, 48. So if we do pop back up into that area, which we may do, we can get a little bit more on this trade. We're only short 1 unit now, which is not that much for a TQQ trade. It's like not that violent, right? I mean, although it is a triple levered, it's only $77. So I'm going to put that back in and see if we can get a little bit of a short play here on the TQQs. And watching out, remember what SpaceX, man, like, okay, do we get that? Oh no, I'm bidding 40s. Oh, we just missed it. That got into that went to 41. That means we'll probably get it. There it is, all right? So, you know, break a 40 and we're out. It's very, very simple trade, man, on this one. We have half a unit right now, and if it winds up breaking, it winds up breaking. I thought it was worth a shot down here, but maybe it wasn't after all, as SpaceX right now looks like it wants to, you know, give us a little slap on the wrist here. We had a nice move there, but we do have more shares now, and it looks like it's going to break lower, only half a unit as opposed to a quarter of a unit right there. So here goes SpaceX. Hands are off the wheel right now, and it's just going to punch me out As long as I have that order in, I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, 130. Okay, here we go. So that size is going to get eaten up in a second. So 139.99 punch out. I'll tell you what the stop out or what the stop loss looks like on that one as a percentage of how much slippage there's going to be, because we've talked about that on the show before. But it looks like SpaceX right now on half a unit will wind up losing on that trade, and it just bounced off 140, but that's temporary. I'm pretty sure this is going to take it right now. So 140, just watch out. I think slippage into the 70s is probably what we'll get. So
it might not be that much.
What can we do right there? So yeah, we'll see what winds up happening. But
we might have missed. We didn't miss this story. We just forgot to tell you guys.
So it actually broke, but didn't break there again. The same thing just happened to me again.
Oh, I just looked
on that trade. We got out at O's again when I'm not even sure it broke. Okay,
it went to 80.
We take a little. Oh, did it go to 80? Okay, but okay, well, we just got a great fill. So it gets, it breaks, it comes right back. So SpaceX, yeah, thank you, but not really, I guess. As we got stopped out at a good price, but definitely take the L there on that 140. But that might be the low. So I don't know. We'll have to wait to see. That little tick there, I mean, we've been stopped out at the bottom before on SpaceX. So let's give it a little bit of breathing room and see if that is the low one more time. And we did get averaged in here on our TQ. So we'll see if that one wants to go a little lower for us as well. And CoreWeave, one more out, and I'll throw it back to Neil. We are now $5 and change in the money on CoreWeave. But that SpaceX might haunt me. Do we want to get back in? I mean, we're right back to flat. We were long at 140.60s. We did get punched out there on kind of a false break. But yeah, there it goes back up there to the upside on SpaceX.
Yeah, that was an epic hold. Yeah. That retrace was super fast. I looked away for a second, it was back up. And we did, I think we just mentioned this amongst ourselves, and Dara probably addressed it, but it was Ackman out of Hertz. Oh, okay. So Hertz was absolutely churning, and then it got announced that Bill Ackman's out of Hertz. It had a bit of a delay. It wasn't doing anything. That's why I didn't bring it up. And then all of a sudden, Hertz just dumped 50 pennies, which for Hertz is significant. That's a 20% drop that it just had. So this is on news. It just bounced shy of the volume-weighted average price. Locates are free, so we can short it. It's like, look for the next available opportunity. And anytime there's a news-based story, I always think retracement back into the volume-weighted average price in here. So I do want to get this fade into VWAP if we can. So I was just confirming that we had locates. I said they're free, and then I realized I actually hadn't tested myself. We're going to go up to Dare for Money Talk, see how the US dollar is doing. Yeah. Obviously, PPI wasn't too crazy today, and the market seemed to be pretty happy. But how's the US dollar feeling about it?
US dollar slightly red here after testing and briefly breaching that 100 level. We get as high as 100.08, and then we fall back down here to 99.85. We are still well above yesterday's low, though, so there is potential for further price discovery upside for the DXY. Let's talk about that PPI. As Neil mentioned, this wasn't crazy print by any means, but it is worth noting we had something a little bit different from what we saw yesterday with CPI. So CPI was exactly in line with estimate for all four prints. The month-over-month prints were hotter than the prior prints, while the year-over-year prints were cooler. Now, what we're seeing here is three cooler than expected prints for PPI. That will be the month-over-month, core month-over-month, and non-core year-over-year. But we got one print that was a little bit hotter than expected, or in line, depending on what sources you saw. I was seeing estimates of 4.1%. We got the print of 4.2%. I know some others are seeing estimates of 4.2%. Either way here, either hotter than or in line with estimates compared to everything else, which was a bit cooler. So that's an interesting look here for PPI core year over year. Let's talk about the rate expectations. Even as we get comments from Feds like Fed's Hammock this morning and Fed's Barkin, Fed's Hammock was overtly hawkish. Fed's Barkin was kind of neutral, but certainly said that they're not taking rate hikes off the table. Either way, though, these comments come, and we still have a 67% chance of the Fed holding rate steady, only 32% chance of hikes. Now, again, I think that's significant because we're seeing more and more in these Fed speeches that these Feds are at least open to the possibility of hikes going forward. Now, I do not believe that Barkin is a voting member right now, so his say-so or his comments will have a little bit less weight than the comments from the hawkish Hammock. Let's take a look at probabilities, though. We're still seeing the chance here of a hike in December. October, September hikes are not currently priced in. Now, we're going to have to wait and see if that changes because we've seen, maybe it's September, maybe October, maybe December. I think what we've consistently seen, the one thing we've consistently seen is that the CME FedWatch tool is expecting some kind of hike of 25 basis points before the year's out. Back to you.
Yeah, we're still thinking hike is going to be the way to go, huh? Yep, that's just how the
I think
market's
there
going
was
to be.
one hike they said into December.
Yeah, instead of the multiple, which
No,
ultimately
we'll
would be a good
see.
thing. Hertz is all the way back at the lows. What's wild, I double checked. This stock didn't move for 5 minutes.
I know. I heard that story and was like, I should have shorted it, but
I think the part of the issue was, like, I heard the story and then pulled up the stock, and it did literally nothing. Like, there wasn't a volume spike, there wasn't a move, and then you held it there, and it was no volume spike, no move, and you're like, okay, well, I guess maybe it's just speculation. It's a weird one because you would have expected it to react right away, and then all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, it just absolutely dumps. Here, and it's not going back into VWAP. Again, you're at the low of the day, so have to wait for maybe a lower high, because it's still more room to go, I think, on Hertz. Like, if it does want to do a bounce, it's still 240 to yesterday's bottom, and there's a flat bottom break into 210 that I don't want to chase. IREN, I wish it had held VWAP, but ifs and buts are not candy and nuts, or they can be. But if you just sit in front of the volume weighted average price, you've now been run over on IREN as it continues to give up the move. So that little VWAP bounce never materialized. It couldn't break the trend and continues to go to the downside. So I still like it for a trend break because it's made a top, it's trended down. It's just going to need to hold the prior breakout level. And it'll be a scalp. Probably at this point it ends up being a scalp trade if we can even get something along those lines. Yeah, finally giving up the ghost there is IREN.
yeah. I mean, similar, like we had that big run in CoreWeave, big run in IREN, big run in some of the names today that have pulled back, including SpaceX, which right now is just dancing with 140. Like, I think it's very risky to think about a position here. We got it there, we lost it here. So, you know, overall red on SpaceX, but pretty small. And it's funny because it went right back to the upside. We wouldn't have really won on that anyways. Like, I might have cleared some out and just not had the ultimate low there, but it looks like we did bounce a couple times. So I guess I wasn't actually watching it, but I guess it did break into 140 that time, officially a couple times. So 140 has now been bought back and forth now on SpaceX. So wondering if that is, you know, a good bottom, or you wait for that 139.80 to break clean, and then you use 141 as your stop. So I think there are some opportunities here today for SpaceX, regardless of which direction you're going in. I mean, the short had already happened off VWAP, which was smooth. And then now you can either buy the longs off 140 and use this 139.75 as your stop, or wait for that to push lower. And I think you'll be happy with a short there, because the pressure is just on this name today. It was going up basically. We kept on asking the last couple of days, like, what's the news? And we were always just like, well, it's, you know, people didn't sell as much as they thought they would there on the expiration lockup. And it just didn't happen. So movement higher. But right now it's been settling now for a few days. And well, today's the first day settling lower, but been settling to the high side there. Finally found a home in and around 150. And then now it can make its way back lower. I know we have that chat. I'm just going to say I'm waiting for the TQs to fall all over themselves. That may or may not happen. My next reload on this is 77.50. If we can add to this position, grab 2 units on this. We have about 1.25 units right now. We'll see if we can get a little bit more action on the TQQs for the short as we continue to hold out hope that CoreWeave wants to even go lower as. Yeah, we just got filled on something. Oh, we just got the TQ, so that was a good one right there. So we're putting this back in as Joe and I go back and forth. We're almost a couple more movements down. Like, if we can get to 77, we'd almost be flat on the TQs. So good responsibility there. Let's wait to see if we can get back into 77. Let's put some bids, because that's what this consolidation was. I think we talked a little bit about Micron already.
We did. It was the entire group, not Micron specifically, Daniel.
Okay.
It was just all the strength that you're seeing. It was, you know, SanDisk, Micron, DRAM. They're all breaking out on the higher time frame, specifically because of that investor day that Adair has mentioned multiple times. I feel like if you're trading these, when you have an event happening, you do want to be noticing what's going under the hood. They might say something you never really know that could shock the stock. But in a general sense, here's DRAM for this trend breakout on the daily. Like, pretty clean. I think Micron is doing more or less the same thing, with a little bit of a difference that it did kind of stall out at the 50 period on the daily. There's room for this break, I think, to get to 1,000. But I'm not sitting there listening right now. And if you're not tracking when there's an event going on, it can be tricky to trade it if you're not really tracking that event. So I'm more in the stay away zone until either you get a headline or a key price level. If it's not, yeah, IREN just continues to fall, so nothing there. And finally, Hertz is making a little bit of a bounce. So I want the next available bounce give me a
3
little
minutes
topping
left.
tail and try to short that one. As Randy's in the house, what are you curious about, Randy? Is lunch
Curious
here?
George, he's a curious little
lunch here yet?
monkey. Oh, you are a big fan of the show. Nice to meet you. Hi, my name's Sean. Oh, see ya. Okay.
As he was holding a fan. That's
Yeah, finally. Yeah, this guy's too much, man. Over there. But the supervision that he's been doing is great. I mean, the place looks great. Back.
Oh,
over
it's
there.
it's
So shout out
unbelievable.
over there.
Like,
to that
the lounge looks.
I
wish
did
we
show
had like a little
everybody that
lounge
we
too.
would. Well, we do have that lounge. That's ours. We just go use it.
No, I mean we have a crazy open space where we could have a couch.
Yeah, but then people are talking. It's too
I know
loud,
that's
right?
the issue is people would be talking while you're on the show.
Yes, exactly. So, all right,
I'd like
FGI, Sharif. This has been a big name that's been halting back and forth. So get ready for the midday madness to come through in just a matter of moments there. And Sharif's going to crush it today. So we're getting ready. Positive vibes only, Mr. Sharif. Over there, 150% to the upside now is FGI, as that name going crazy. FGI Industries there today, as well as PSQH is another one. That's $4.50 right now. That's halted a couple times with only 5 million. So that might not be it right there. FGI may be the one to look at. XHG also 56 million shares. So there's a lot of volume going through today on a lot of names, but I don't know exactly what this one's doing. $4, $5, a couple halts in between there. Interesting name for sure. XHG. There goes SpaceX, someone just said. Shout out to you, Scott H. Over there, Scott Hall, the bad guy, Razor Ramon over there. One of the best wrestlers, or one of the best characters of all time. He wasn't the greatest wrestler. Unless you're in a swimming pool and you're razor edging everybody, that's a great move. Like
He wasn't a technical guy like Bret Hart or anything.
me and my brother used to razors edge each other off the diving board. Now that I think about that, that might have not been the greatest idea, but no one ever broke their neck or anything, so that was pretty good.
He apparently was always really, really good with like
Power bomb.
being in character when kids would see him, which is a big deal, man. Like that's what it's all about. You see a kid like Make-A-Wish, whatever, and he would go into character and play it up, which
Yeah.
is
Well, that's why
what you
John
ask for,
Cena's-
man. So that's what makes Cena so. Cena's
what
awesome.
is
for
the
that.
greatest of all time because of his. John, no one has committed more to Make-A-Wish. Anybody, not just wrestler, period, than John Cena. So shout out to that because you can't see him, but he's now retired. So yeah, man. I mean, there goes SpaceX with only 10 seconds left. I already sort of planted out the seed for you guys all on SpaceX, right? I mean, if it breaks that 139.75, I think you go short against 141. Otherwise, you just defend that level and hope that the long eventually prints. That's all trading is hope. You know, you put your trade on and you hope it works out. I don't know. You just have some reasons
They get in, put the stop.
for doing that. Yeah. So like right now, we don't have to hope that much because right now that was a good idea because the TQ's falling back in. But I hope it goes lower. And in case it doesn't, we take another out there at 20. So another fill there on that one as we continue to go. But I want to do one last check because we're about to pass you over. You're going to hit the like button for our friends over here as well. But if you haven't done it yet and you've been watching all show, go to the stream, hit the like. We still got 7,800 watching, 1.1K. So get that number going a little bit. Neil and I will be back at 2 p.m. So you can bet on that one.
Oh, you know what? We didn't say this morning, but I want to remind everybody, Chop for Charity. Remember, Fabian, our
just
main
got put
man.
up, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it just got put in the chat. So it's in the description as well. But Fabian, by the 28th, is going to be cutting off the quaff and donating it to charity. So you can click the GoFundMe right there to support it. We're going to do it live on the show. Have a little bit of fun with it for sure. This is Fabian. Get over here.
I want to show this
Chop
guy's
for Charity.
hair.
Look at the.
Yeah. This is.
There it is.
Randy, we're raising $5,000.
Boom.
And he's going to chop this off, donate it all over there to charity.
We'll all do it.
Yeah. I'm raising a little
you-
less money for mine. I'm raising
I
like
don't think we'll
$5.
get anything from $5. We'll raise 50 cents for me.
Yeah. No, I think we're going to get a barber. I think we could get our barber to come in.
Actually?
No. This is August 28th.
It's
Is the end of the
month.
day over there. He's back this.
Yeah, it's a Friday.
He's back this weekend. Yeah. No. I'm just saying if we want to do something, he can bring in like the barber look, and we could. Yeah, it might be better.
Get a nice haircut too.
I don't know if he can bring in a chair or not, but. Okay, man. Yeah. So shout out to Fabian and thanks to Neil for bringing that up. And we got to get maybe Fabian, you could we could get that going at the beginning of our stream, not just when you come in.
Yes.
The little link there, so we can promote it a little bit more.
Yeah, because I didn't remember until I saw it.
Yeah, exactly. And for some reason, I don't even see it on my chat. So, man, I'm blocked from this.
There's something wrong, man.
Okay, so CoreWeave is still $6 in, man. The TQs is about flat right now, and the midday show. Okay, we're gonna go to Adara first. All right, good show. We'll see you guys.
Oh, and Sia's
Neil's
here.
gonna have some knowledge. Yeah, see, Sia's too cool for our show.
Where'd she come from?
Sia only
Show them after we're done.
only shows up for the midday. Like the midday's got everything. They've got Joe, Sharif, and now Sia.
That's
and it's
just
like
like
you guys
that,
have to
huh?
suffer with just us.
like
Sia,
that.
come on, save us on the morning show. Well, first of all, you got to turn on your mic. So, all right, let's go over to Adara. We'll see all you guys at 2 p.m.
Peace.
SanDisk, guys, more
Who knows
updates
what
from
she's-
SNDK. They have their investor day. They're targeting 80% non-GAAP gross margin growth through fiscal year 2030. So they just started fiscal 2027. They're talking about 2028 to 2030 guidance. They're guiding revenue growth in the mid to high teens over that 3-year period. They're also guiding, as mentioned here, non-GAAP gross margin of 80% over that period. Their margin's already really strong, so I'll have to wait and see how that compares. But either way here, adjusted free cash flow margin, 50% over that fiscal 28 to fiscal 30 period. They also said they're expecting to return 100% of excess cash to shareholders. So lots of nice updates here for SNDK, but that stock cannot get above 1433, clear resistance level for SNDK. But we're definitely not going to resist the chance to send you over to the midday. So Joe, Sharif, it's your time to shine.